works to begin with, so if, just refresh this long enough till it actually loads up to say I'm live. Let's see. Not like I'll be able to send this over to bloody YouTube anyway, because I keep trying to send streams over from Twitch to YouTube and it never works properly. They always they go over, but they always go to fucking SD and they never go to HD quality. So who am I to expect anyone to sit there for 2 hours to watch it in 360p the whole time? I was like, oh wow, scintillating stuff. I'm just gonna check the volume here on the tablet quick just to make sure everything's coming through all right. Oh yeah, there we go. Right, that's fine. Okay, cool. Right, so I think I've got this set up. Okay, so basically, what we're going to be doing for anyone who watches this on the catch up is we're going to be looking at the original TRO 3025. Don't worry about the image being tiny. This is just how this PDF looks. It's totally legitimate as far as PDFs go. It's certainly not a really old scan that was done by a friend a long time ago. That it was a bit wrong, but thanks to Sleepless Ronin, who made this tier list on Tier Maker, we have the ability to rank the mechs from 3025. Unfortunately, the vehicles aren't included. Maybe in the future I'll go through. We'll go through, do a tier 1 about all the vehicles. But the weird thing about the Tier Maker website is you can't just make an account like any normal website. Oh no, you got to have a Twitter account, and then you have to link the Twitter account with the account that you make here on Tier Maker, and then it signs you up to a newsletter and everything. I think like I'm gonna have to make a dummy Twitter account and everything. I'm not linking any old shit like that. I don't even use Twitter, so I'd have to make a Twitter account as well. But if this is fun, if this is something that people enjoy, then yeah, I'll probably do a few more of these. There's also another reason that I'm doing this one rather than playing a game today, because, well, there's a couple of reasons actually. Originally, I always thought about doing a stream where I just chat about, the technical readout and just go through the mechs with everyone. Chat. Hey, Yobbo, how you doing? Hey, Happy New Year. I have an ability. Hey, Yobbo. Oh, look at that. I could chat to you over the audio and in the chat, because there it fucking is right there on the side, because I got it popped out mode in a separate browser. Ain't that fucking delish? But yeah, we got a good New Year and all that, Yobbo. Hope it's been good, but what was my train of thought? Oh yeah, but there's also like what have we got? 1, 2. There's 3 deliveries. There's 3 deliveries coming, and there's supposed to be a bloke to fix the shower. And I've got a feeling that if I was to play any game multiple times during the stream between now and midday for me, I'm gonna be getting up, run over, like answering the door, getting the stuff. What's it? Also, we're having a 4-way. yeah, we're having a 4-way. Yeah, so what's going on? The nice thing about the chat for me on the screen is that it color codes the names, whereas the chat on the tablet, for some reason, will have color for some users' names, but most users' names are just black text for some reason. Yeah, they return. Yeah, it would be a delayed relay race. That's exactly what would happen. Yeah, that's it. That's the problem. So we don't end up in a scenario where there'd just be shite going on. Now this is supposed to be mod view, so does this allow me to do things? What's this? I can click specifically to reply. This is it. These are the only options I get. Hey Rykeros. That's it. I can pin a message or I can reply to it. I thought it was in mod view. The fuck is this shit? Can I? Okay. Oh, all right. Okay. Let's hope that this doesn't do anything bad. Oh, there we go. There's mod view. Like, I can ban. I can time out. There we go. I can make you a mod. 999 plus messages. That must be a bug, right? Yeah. It's a bug. There's no way there's 999 plus messages. What the fuck is that all about? What the hell is that all about? Let's just chat shit and spout bollocks. Yeah. Well, it's according to my clock, which you can see on my desktop. It's 9:57. We're not technically at the start of the stream yet. I just thought I'd start a little earlier. And anyone who watches us on the catch will go, "When are you going to start to rating the fucking mechs? This is what I've been saying for. I'm so annoyed." I wish I'd put this together, but as I was saying earlier, Tier Maker, this website, it's used by a lot of Twitch streamers for all kinds of stupid shit. And hey, I'm here doing the same thing. I'm a real Twitch streamer now. But a lot of them, you've got to sign up with Twitter to use, to make your own list. I mean, I don't mind going through all the images in the book and you know, making them as images for this, but bloody hell. You know, so we're live as you check your emails. Well, there you go. Well, you know I'm going to be live on Thursdays. Friday, for the next couple of weeks, I'm not going to be live, but Thursdays I'll still do something. If you click the buttons under the chat, there should be an option for the timeout and ban options to show up by the chatters. Well, this is on the popped out mode, but I can click the username and do all that right across. So it should be fine. It should be fine. Oh, you got a star and a lance. So for two lance for go. Nice, nice. Oh, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Right. So the way we're working out. So A tier is Taurian God tier. B is Comstar stockpile. C is the Curating Honor list. Then we've got D, which is the Lao Reservist junk. And of course, anything that's crap is the Davian junkyard. Okay, so that's F. We've got all the mechs from the original TRO 3025. And if we get through these quickly, I can bring up TRO 2750. Just sort of on the fly. We'd have to rename these, edit these as we go, because it would be based on, as I said, Sleepless Ronin's listings. But we can go through it that way. What do you mean those tiers are upside down? No, they're perfectly fine. They're exactly as they should be, Yobbo. I don't know what you're talking about. It's all good. It's all good. This is exactly how it should be. There's no brown. I can't pick brown as a colour for that. It has to be orange. But the other thing is, we've got the original TRO. Look at that. Okay, now for some reason, tiny image, and then gigantic Locust right up page, then regular size page, and then all the rest of them are just normal. Okay, but we'll go for that. So we're gonna be rating these based on a few factors. One is we're gonna be basing it on the original art. We're also gonna be basing it on some of the write up, and then the loadout. Okay, so that's what we're gonna be. That's how we're gonna be ranking them. So we're gonna be starting. What do you mean Lao should be at the bottom? No, Fed Rats. Fed Rats are at the bottom. You know how this works. Fed Rats always at the bottom. Yeah, yeah, you got the very book behind you. I think it's up. I think I've got that and an original 2750 upstairs spare room. What do you mean moo? What do you mean moo? Right. So, yeah, right, we'll just kick it off. So we got the Locust, so we'll just go through the overview. The Locust was one of the most produced and common battle mechs of the Fallen Star League. Bergen Industries began production of the mech at 8 of their facilities in 2499, and was still in peak production when the Star League fell several years later. Several variants of the mech have been produced and modified over the years, creating quite distinct versions. All modifications involve upgrading the Locust's firepower. Now, if people want, I could read the whole thing. I don't know whether that'll just get me in trouble or not, or if anyone's even bothered to hear that. But that's just sort of maybe the overview for now. So, yeah, obviously the Locust. It's kind of hard not to reactively put this in Taurian God tier. I mean, we are looking at... personally, I think some of the best... Please don't Locusts are poopy. Okay, right, so we're immediately going to butt heads on this one, aren't we? But the art is so nice. Look at that. Now, this isn't... I'm not knocking the original art either. Okay? The original art is really good. The new art is nice. I really like what they've done with Locust. But there's something about the original Locust stuff. It looks so good. There's just something about it. You know, 20 tons, a medium laser and 2 machine guns. All right. We're not winning many fights with this. That's that's obvious. And we're talking about a mech that's got 8 armor on the head. I mean, it has 1 less than most. 10 on the CT, 2 on the rear, 8 on the right and left torso, 2 on the rear, 4 on the arms, the goal on that, and 8 on the legs. This Locust design looks perfect for an Atlas to be swinging over the head as a bludgeoning tool. 3050 does give the names of the planets that continue to build some of the originals, also some of the info as well. Yeah, it does, but if I have them all open at the time, it's just going to get confusing scrolling around them. Yobbo, you're saying that it can't be Turian God tier. You're saying it's poopy, so what? You're saying that it should be somewhere right around Lao Reservist junk? Are we talking about the Davian junkyard here? I'm personally tempted. All right, it's not Turian God tier. Well, we'll agree with that. So it's not in there, but I'm tempted to either put it within Comstar stockpile or the Curating honor list. The Comstar junk pile. Right, so I'm comfortable with that though. Like B. Yeah, I agree, Rikeros. Locusts are good at what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah, I can roll with that. That's fine. Okay, so tends to be not shoot mech. Yeah, as a recon vehicle, it works. Yeah, it's good in that regard. Okay, so I think we're the three of us are happy here that Comstar stockpile. Yeah, but it's not really meant to be fighting other mechs, is it, Yobbo? That's it. So I think personally, Comstar stockpile because it does its job, right? It's a recon mech, isn't it? It's not meant to be fighting other mechs. So I think for now we're good. We're good with that. So the next one, obviously, we've got the 1A Wasp now. One of the things I can do now is I can actually just zoom in a bit. So oh god, there we go. I do. So the WSP-1A Wasp overview. The WSP-1A Wasp was the first recon mech to be mass-produced for the Terran military. Since its initial production in 2471, the mech is spread to all parts of human-occupied space. Old Star League records show that thousands of Wasps were constructed in the 4 centuries preceding the Succession Wars. Though many of these have been worn out or destroyed, estimates show that more than half this total is still in operation. Further, some Wasp designs are still being constructed in some areas of the successor states. The large number of Wasps available for use should ensure that it remains among the main light recon mechs of the successor states for centuries to come. The Wasp design has always been used for general scouting and reconnaissance duty. Far too lightly armed and armoured for battle, its speed and manoeuvrability can generally keep it out of major confrontations. Oh, you're saying it's God tier, Yobbo. You're saying that this is Turian God tier, the Wasp. Oh, I mean, I'm not going to say that. Personally, I wouldn't put this. Oh, I'd put this very mid. I think this is Curating. This is Curating on the list, right? This is mid. The Wasp, and my reason I don't dislike the original art. The Wasp looks fucking cool, right? The head, nice aggressive look. You'd put the Wasp or Stinger a tad over the Locust, primarily on the mobility front. Oh, but that puts it to Turian God tier. I don't know. So what are we saying that the Locust goes down to the honor list? I mean, if we're looking at that, if we were doing that for now as a stand-in, just place it in front of the Locust. So it's there, but it would yeah. So we're saying it's Comstar stockpile just ahead, left side dominance. Okay. Because I think it looks great. It's a cool looking mech. I love the quad antenna setup. We have to assume that that's part of the Duotech 65 combined with the General Mechanics incorporated Radcom TXX system. Yeah, there's something about it. It looks quite aggressive there, doesn't it? It's really nice. Great piece of artwork. And I've mentioned this in a few Lore Warriors at the end. Like, some people really dislike Luce's original art, but I don't know. This looks fucking cool. So we were talking about a mech that apparently only has 4 armor on the head. It's actually got less armor on the head than the Locust, and it has 6 on the CT, 4 on the rear, 6 on the right and left torso, 2 on the rear, and 4 on the arms and legs. But obviously, this is packing a slightly bigger punch with an SRM2 and a medium compared to the Locust. So there's an understandable difference. And what we're running 696, which is it's fast. It's not as fast as the Locust. Obviously, the Locust is running 812, but it does have jump capability. So, AVFG, what best part about the mech? Or its loafers? It's a very long feet. Yeah. All right. Right. Yeah. Okay. I think we're all good with this. We're all good with this with the Wasp. I'm happy with the Wasp being where it is currently on the list here, slightly ahead of the Locust Comstar stockpile. Okay. The Stanger. SDG-3R Stinger. Overview. The SDG-3R Stinger was the second mass-produced scout and recon mech to be completed. First designed after Earthworks won the bid against General Mechanics Incorporated, the designers of the Wasp, the Stinger was put into production along with the Wasp because of the great need for light scouts, and also because of the similarities in the design of the two mechs. In 2479, the first Stingers came off the assembly line. In the next 4 centuries, nearly 200,000 more units would be constructed. Estimates place the number of operational Stingers currently used by the successor states at 5,000 or more. Indeed, the mech is still being produced in a number of facilities both in and out of the inner sphere. The Stinger was designed as a scout and reconnaissance mech, although it's also armed and used as a training mech in some MechWarrior academies, replacing the TRC-4B Chameleon. The Stinger is lightly armoured and mounts limited weapons. Its speed and manoeuvrability, however, make it a difficult target and a tough mech to pin down. I'm sorry, guys. I love this thing. I agree. It's a slow jumping Locust. Okay, it's the same loadout as the Locust. There's no getting away from it. I think this looks better than the Wasp. I think it's so cool. I love there's something about the scary head design. Yeah, the head is pure sex, right? I agree. Yeah, the square cockpit head thing. There's something a bit haunting about it. It's more intimidating than the Wasp. Just looks like Justin Hammer's drone. I like this thing more. I would pick this over a Locust. I really would. Yeah, it has a cold, unfeeling gaze, kind of like Shockwave. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so there is that sort of nastiness to it. Works as a lamb, yeah. It works as a lamb, yeah. I think the lambs are included on this, but unfortunately, I don't think they're included on the tier thing. Unfortunately, I'm tempted. I'm tempted to Taurian God tier. I don't know. It's personal preference. I like the Stinger so much more. It's just out of the 320 tonners, this one just kind of. But the 3G is the 3. I think it's mentioned in the variants, isn't it? Oh, does it actually mention it? It doesn't mention it by designation, but it does mention it. Yeah, it's having dropping the twin machine guns favour more armor and additional medium laser, usually in the left arm. Yeah, but I don't know. I really like it as. It's sitting. It's Taurian God tier at the moment. I mean, just for BFG, so the best mechs on the list. It's Alpha. It's Taurian God tier, right? Then there's the Comstar stockpile. And what do you mean Lao Mech? What do you mean Lao Mech Yobbo? No, it's not Lao Mech. What the fuck is this shit? Yeah, C grade with the curating on the list. Like D is the Lao Reservist Junk and F is the Davian Junkyard. I think you could agree with that, BFG, right? I think this is perfectly fine as far as the ranking namings and systems go. So top is Taurians, bottom is Davian. It all works. It just works. Lao Mech. Yeah, but you see this. I did do it to my joke. It's just fact. Right, we're 25 tons now. We're going with the Commando, the original, the 2 Delta, the one that's head looks really fucking weird. That for a long time people thought that this was like a weird sort of cocked to the side helmet thing, and that the cockpit was this bit on the right and that bit wasn't, when it was clear that the head of the mech was turned. Only way that the laughing cows would be at the top of anything. Let's see. Right, Commando 2D. Overview. The Commando COM-2D was designed as an alternative to the more numerous Wasps and Stingers as a reconnaissance mech. While not jump capable, the Commando has far stronger weaponry than either of the more famous Scout mechs. Conceived by engineers at Coventry Defence during the last days of the Protectorate of Donegal, the first prototype Commando was tested in 2463 and carried a large laser on the right arm. Because the sudden heat generated by the laser was breaking down the lubricants in the mech's wrist and hand, the weapon was later replaced with an SRM-4 rack. The Commando was commissioned by the Protectorate of Donegal in 2466, then adopted by the entire Lyran Commonwealth after the Protectorate became part of it. Though Star League made many attempts to draft the Commando model into its own forces, the Commonwealth managed, through clever stalling and subtle lying, to keep the design to themselves, and this has proven a prudent move on the part of the Commonwealth. What, so Marek is double SD? Marek's not even mentioned. Neither, I mean, to be fair, neither of the Lyrans BFG. This art makes you consistently think this is supposed to be a weird trebuchet. Yeah, there is a kind of, a trebuchet-ish. I think, unfortunately, the Commando has to be ranked down a bit on the criteria because the art is not the best. I think we can all agree this is not the best image of a Commando that's ever made. It's got these weird, wide little feet. Its head is turned to the side, which gives it this strange profile for the head. I think the SRMs are the wrong way round, is that correct? Oh, no, that is right. Yeah, SRM4 on the arm, the SRM6 there. You can't see the laser, but it was supposed to be on this thing. This might be like the first of the weaker images, I think. Oh, yeah, I mean, not taking away that Commandos are good mechs. I mean, the Commando definitely, it isn't in the D or the F category. It's not Lau, it's not Davian, Reservist junk. I mean, I'm happy. It's curating on the list. BFG, you're not finding the Commando much. Personally, I think it's curating on the list. We can go back through it later, right? But I think for now, the Commando, we're sitting mid. You're saying Comstar, Yobbo. Comstar stockpile. I'm thinking curating on the list. You do appreciate the Commando acts as the hammer to the other light, weaker units, yeah. The large laser is the Star League design. Yeah, but I mean, we're looking at, this is TRO 3025. So we can only base it on, partly on this as well, right? Alright, ignore the fact that the stats are kind of faded out on the side. As I said, we can reevaluate as we go. Once all the mechs are in there, we can start to move them around a bit. It's in, it might be in the variants, but it's not listed. It's not listed here. Not listed here. Look at that. See? 2D. 2 Delta. There's no 1Bs. Overlap. As I said, we'll be able to go back through. We can move some stuff around later on if we feel we need to. Right, so we got the Javelin, okay, the JVN-10N. The JVN-10N Javelin is one of the newer recon vehicles used by the armies of the successor states. First produced in 2751, the light mech still hadn't been entirely integrated into many mech regiments by the beginning of the First Succession War in 2786. Because of this, many combatants were caught off guard when it appeared on the battlefield. House Davian took a particular interest in the Javelin's development, introducing them into many recon lances. Today, after centuries of succession wars, the Javelin has come to be known as a reliable scout mech. The Javelin's main function is reconnaissance, though it's also used extensively in ambush. In that regard, the term sneaky as a Javelin has become widespread amongst mech warriors throughout the inner sphere. Curitan junk. Oh, okay. Hey, Naman. Rocket covering his favourite Davian mechs there. Well, Naman, as you can see, this is the tier listing. Taurian God tier, Comstar stockpile, Curitan honor list, Lau reservist junk, and Davian junkyard. The gut on this, but he looks like he's going to fall over, doesn't he? He's a chunky boy. He's top heavy. There's no denying it. It's a good mech. I've always liked the Javelin. It's straightforward. It's simple. On the table, it works brilliantly because it's got decent speed. You can run up to a mech at 9 hexes or a vehicle and just dump 12 SRMs into the target and do pretty significant damage. And 15 rounds of firing for each launcher? That's pretty decent because most fights don't last more than, I'd say more than like 10 rounds anyway. So, because by round 10, most mechs are pretty messed up. Oh yeah, it does turn into a donut. But then again, to be fair, most stuff hit by an AC-20 at this tonnage will get a hole put through it. Taurian Commander only use mechs with animal names. It does slow the capabilities somewhat. No. That's like SRMs always roll minimum missile. So it's just rolling 2 missiles every turn, yeah. Alright, so it hits with SRM 4 every time it fires 12 missiles. I suppose that's okay. Alright, so what? We're it's fun. It's fun, but we're not in this area, are we now? Are we Lao Reservist Junk, or is this the first Davian junkyard? I don't know. It's not better than the Commando. It's definitely not better than the Commando. I'm tempted for now. Oof, you put it in the junkyard, Yalbo. Oof. Yeah, okay. Cannibal Penguin, how you doing? Davian junkyard as well. Wow. Okay, so I think visually, I think it looks good. It's it's one of the original art designs. I think the head is the most distinct part of it. It's really kind of interesting head design. Javelin is good in numbers. No, it wouldn't be by itself. This is true. It's got mutton chops. Yeah, it's got. Oh yeah, it's one rotten. Big fucking mutton chops going on there. Yeah. It's got snowshoes. Yeah, the big flat feet on it. Yeah. The holes in the middle for I don't know what, for air to pass through. I don't know. So it's fucking Jordans. It's Air Jordans that's going on here. Air Javelins. All right, so Spider. Now I think a lot of people are probably going to jump on this thing. So the SDR-5V Spider is the crowning triumph of Newhart Interstellar Industries' long history of armament manufacture. Though the firm produced mostly aerospace fighters, the Spider was their first and only entry into the battlemech market. In 2650, Starleague requisitioned a special mech for its elite commando forces. Newhart responded so quickly that most of the other mech manufacturing firms were left sitting in the dust. Newhart had, in fact, already designed the SDR series, which more than met the minimum standards for a lightweight recon attack mech. They were also ready for production, and so Starleague awarded them the contract. The Spider got its name from the fact that the frontal armor alignment resembles a spiderweb pattern. The seams between the armor plates are filled with a fiberglass sealant that's bright red, making the pattern stand out even more. A great choice for your recon fast attack mech, isn't it? Bright red lines all across the front of the mech. It is fucking fast though, 812.8. I mean, that is pretty good, but then it is only equipped. See, this has it with this is the 2 medium laser variant, which the original art does not show the second medium laser for some reason. It just has the one nipple, the nipple gun. It's Curitan in its ability, but Starleague in its potential. Ooh, okay. Did someone shrink the Whitworth's head for the jar? That's a good point, man. Yeah, it does kind of fit that. So by that, Yobber, you're putting the Spider kind of higher there. You're saying the Spider is essentially the more extreme Stinger. It does more damage than the Stinger. The Stinger is currently Turian God tier. I'm kind of surprised here. I thought the Spider was going to be, personally, I thought it was going to be like D or F, possibly C. But you say about the same Locust when it's in its role as a scout. Oof. Better than the Locust or behind the Locust though? It's more capable than the low cost. Right, so at the moment we're saying it's Comstar stockpile. Does that, I mean, does the Locust go down to the Curitan on the list at this point? Or is it staying Comstar stockpile? I mean, it had the benefit of being the first mech on the list. So that's what I'm saying. All these can change as we go along, you see. This is going to be the interesting part. I agree, yeah, BFG, the Locust is damn cheap. It is a very cheap mech by comparison. You can probably get a few Locusts for the cost of one Spider, or at least 2 Locusts, probably. Art-wise, you know what? MWO, for instance, I thought the head design in MWO kind of sucked, whereas the head design here looks a lot better. Its weight and costs rule it out for you. Ooh, okay. Well, it's just between a Holden and a Falcon. Which way do you go, BFG? Yeah. It's just, some interesting points here. Yeah. Oh, you prefer PGI spots? I kind of like the head design because there's the little, you can see the little mandibles, the little spider bits there that kind of fit the theme a bit more. I know for PGI, doing a round head would have been something they really didn't want to do because they liked doing boxier art because it was easier to model. And obviously the spider is actually quite a rounded design in the original art. There's a lot of sort of cylindrical kind of pieces. The neck definitely isn't doing it for you. It's tiny little tight neck. I can't move. Does imagine this thing being 8-legged. That'd be weird when it little ding 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 legs going across the floor, especially at that speed. Run at you 12. Also scale wise, because you can see this little dude here with his bandana, of course. You can see how small the spider is, according to this. It's one of the few that I think actually has some kind of attempt at a size comparison. I don't know, I'm thinking at the moment, because I think there's good points and there's bad points being made here with regards to cost, the weight, so does it do its job well? I don't know. I think there are better scouts so far on this list. I'm thinking it's curating on a list. Yeah, the pilot's crammed into there like a morph ball. Yeah, I mean that is very small. Like if he was to be transposed in that cockpit, his head would be poking out the top of it. There's no way. There is no ejection system in the Spider, and we know that. So yeah, we can see why that head. There's nothing popping off the top of that to get the pilot out safely. All right, so we're gonna well, here's the meme machine. It's the Urby. Called upon to produce an effective light mech for city fighting, August Industries replied with the Urbanmech. Cheap to produce, but potent in its assigned duties. The mech was manufactured in large numbers, many of which have survived into the present era. Now common in city garrisons and defense units, the Urbanmech continues as an effective battle weapon. What do you mean it doesn't belong on the list? It's in TRO 3025. Of course it belongs on the list. The dumpiest mech ever built. It can't keep up with assault mech. It's not meant to. It's a city fighter. Hey, to be honest, a 30-tonner that can drop a fucking AC-10 into you, that's quite scary. Yeah, it can barely move. It walks 2, runs 3. Anything other than city defense militia, no. Yeah, it's gonna struggle. It's not great. It really isn't a great mech, right? But compared to some of the others, it's not a scout. It's just meant to sit on a building or behind a building and then waddle out and fire. There are loads of them in frontline lances. That doesn't make sense. You've got no. It's below the Javelin. There's another tier. We've got another tier going on. So currently it's in the Davian junkyard. It's a walking gatepost. I'm not really in disagreement here about the Urbanmech. There's something cute about it, but it is very bad. It's a knowingly bad mech. The whole point in it is that it's really cheap. Yeah, you'd rather spend the C-bills on a tank than an Urby, yeah. It's a purposely bad mech, but it fills a gap. And that's one of the reasons I really like it in the write-up in Battletech. It fits the world because of its intended role. It's not meant to be the best thing in the world. It's just meant to, when a garrison or a unit needs something, anything to replace, there's the Urby. It's so cheap. Everyone on the Kickstarter going, yeah, because it became a meme, didn't it? Everyone just kind of jumped on it and yeah, turned it into this thing about, oh, the Urby's so amazing. Yeah, it's a gun on jet, strike roads. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's bad. It is effectively a bad mech, because even if you were to be given it as a player on MechWarrior RPG, for instance, you kind of know you're fucked. you know at that point that it's like, guys, unless I'm in an urban setting, I really don't think I'm going to be able to help much. Armor-wise, it's okay for its weight class, because it's got 11 on the CT, 8 on the side torsos, 10 on the arms, 12 on the legs. It's okay for 30 tons. It can absorb a fair amount of punishment going up against other light vehicles. But yeah, anything bigger is just going to tear through it. It can't avoid. I mean, what if it walks? It gets 0. It gets 0 bonus to its defense if it does. And if it runs, it gets +1 to the difficulty to hit it. That's how sad it is for the little guy. Even if he jumps, he doesn't actually. He only gets the +1 because he jumped. As far as difficulty to hit is concerned, as well. It does last longer than I believe. Yeah, it can spread damage. Obviously, thanks to die rolls. I think the other factor to consider is that it only has 10 rounds of ammo. So it can actually spaff most of its shots and then become combat ineffective quite quickly. And it can't even leave the field very, very quickly after it's fired those 10 rounds. Esther and Carrier Irby cost is the same. Yeah, that's a good point. So I think I don't think anyone's really going to disagree here. Urbanmech, Davian Junkyard. Right, okay, Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is a mech design unique to the Federated Suns. Although commissioned by the League's regular army, it didn't enter production until 2787, after the start of the First Succession War. Despite the Korean facilities were all within the Federated Suns, all Valkyries produced became the exclusive property of House Davian. Despite the chaos of the Succession Wars, the Korean plants on New Avalon are still functional, a large industrial complex still capable of manufacturing up to 130 Valkyries per year. The continued operation of Korean enterprises depends upon several other key industries. Components like fusion reactors and sensor helmets are still produced by completely automated plants using tech that no longer understands. These old and worn plants often break down, which means the day may come when it is no longer possible to repair malfunctioning equipment. When the supply of ultra-high technological parts needed by each mech runs out, Korean enterprises will be forced to end production. Future concerns aside, the Valkyrie has become an important part of Davian forces. It generally replaces the lighter Stingers and Wasps in the Federated Suns' crack combat regiments, giving their units improved firepower. Because the VLK carries twice the armor of either a Wasp or a Stinger, it can last longer under fire. Easy G. It is a solid mech. Yeah. They they made the Flamer version. You're right, PFG, yeah, the Flamer version. This is a decent light mech, though. Yeah. I think at first it looks a bit woeful in its loadout because it's a medium laser LRM-10, but that's quite good because we're talking about a mech that can run 8, so it can get a little bit of defense and it can just harass, can't it, at range with its LRM. It's not necessarily bad build. I'm not quite sure, is it actually attached to the ground, or is it standing on the tips of its feet, if we look at the original art, because that kind of looks like he's on his tiptoes. Well, no, it's not that it became unseen because of resemblance to the Wasp. It is from Macross. There is a Macross model that is the Valkyrie. That a few of the episodes had it. It does look semi-hovering, doesn't it? Yeah. It's ascending. It's been chosen and called to the Lamb. It's ascending. Yeah, I quite like the Valkyrie. I have to admit, there's a soft spot. It's above the Spider for Uniman. Davian only standing on its toes to look tall. I'm slightly better than you. Is it better than Commando? Would we say it's top of the currently the curating honor list? I'd be tempted to say it is, personally. I'd put it there. Yeah, but if you only just noticed the man's here in the chat, he's been chatting for a while. Good light indirect fire mech. Yeah, I agree. I think it's above the Commando. Definitely above the Spider. We don't have anything in Lao Reservist junk. We're going to get there, though. I suspect there's a few mediums that are going to end up in that list. I'm possibly I would maybe move the Javelin up to the Lao. What do you mean season's going to accept me? What the fuck have I done? What the fuck, man? What the hell? Why? Oh, it's just because Davian are the lowest rank. This is what this is. It's just petty. It's just petty. Right. I think we're done with the Valkyrie, aren't we? Right. So it's the Firestarter. The Firestarter was conceived primarily as an indirect assault unit. Constructed by Argyle Technologies of Skye from 2550 to the beginning of the Civil War in early 2776, it was successfully marketed as a highly mobile incendiary mech. Nearly 3,000 Firestarters saw active service. Most mech regiments contained a number of FS9s, and spare parts were usually stocked at all repair depots. Though many Firestarters have been gutted beyond repair, those that survive are usually in good condition. Because the FS9-H was a popular mech, a good supply of spare parts is still available. I've already spoken to you, didn't think I needed to say it again. No, of course you have to say it again. Art-wise, I really like the original Firestarter. I think it looks really good. The Walking War Crime, which is a feature, basically all mechs are essentially war crimes on the most warriors, yeah. It's Turian tier for you, BFG. Okay. Ooh. Mini-wise, it looks like it's mincing. The Turian light mech of choice for both the Capellians and the Turians and their war crimes. Hey, whoa. There's no war crimes going on with the periphery. That's just Innisfield like propaganda, that shit. There's no war crime going on there. The art here is really nice. It looks fucking nasty. War crime efficiency now increased by 10%. Yeah, hey, alright, Nash, how you doing? Why does it have a number 9 womb tattoo? I don't know what that's going on. Yeah, it's obviously supposed to be some shading to give this like a recessed kind of look, but it does look like a big number 9, doesn't it? I mean, visually it's great. It is really standout, very memorable. Ignore the fact that kind of looks like it's a see-through dome on the top, where you could, but just ignore that fact. More of a meme for you. Use case is fairly small. Taurians like to set the atmosphere alight, not to worry about the forests. In open grounds, yeah, it is definitely a target. I mean, we're looking at 13 CT, 12 right and left, with 6 on the rear above, 6 arms, 6. Very lightly armored on the arms and legs. Definitely a big risk for any pilot there. Especially since so many weapons are kind of focused around, like the 2 of the flamers are based around the arms, which is a bit of a problem. I like the fact it has a rear-mounted flamer as well. That's always nice. It can flame in every direction, which is quite good. Outside of that, though, yeah, I mean, its lasers are in its arms as well, which I would have actually had a little more armor on the arms, because as soon as you burn through that, it's only another 6 until the internal structure's gone. It can be blown off in like a couple of hits. Yeah, exposed actuators. Yeah. Obviously, you can clearly see on the ball joints there on the legs. They're a support mech. Where I know BFG, you've got this pegged as Turian god tier. I don't know. It looks great, but I don't know quite where it's sitting at the moment. I mean, it's hovering. It's hovering around this area. It's creating on a list for you, Naman. Alright, so if we were at the moment to go Curitan on a list, where does it sit? It's the end. The N-word in anti-protester technology. It's a dishonorable unit. Where does it sit though on the Cretan honor list? I mean, are we talking above the Commando, above the Spider? It's definitely not above a Valkyrie. Comstar top tier. You're saying it's above a Wasp and a Locust? ETG. Oh, I mean, it was. Oof. Personally, for me, I think it's above a Spider, but less than a Commando and a Valkyrie. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Between Commando and Spuda. Yeah, there we go. I think there's a bit of a consensus here. It's not shite. It's not terrible. It's not amazing either. So I think we're good on that one. Right, here we go. A classic. Probably one of the most well-liked mechs, the Jenner. It's a relatively modern design, first constructed in 2784 by Diplon Mech Yards of Ozawa under contract to House Kurita. It was designed as a fast, hit-and-run guerrilla fighter, with a maximum speed of 118.8 km per hour and a jump capacity of 150 meters. It was hoped that this mech would form the foundation for a new, highly mobile lance. The original Jenners mounted two Agra 27C medium lasers and a Diplon HD large laser on a central turret, but this configuration could easily be disarmed by a direct hit to the turret. The medium laser's targeting system was also plagued with problems. However, because the chassis and mobility subsystems perform well in trials, designers decided to refit the weapon systems instead of scrapping the whole design. The standard 10 heatsinks allowed the mech to move swiftly and fire without overheating. The Jenner was then modified to its current configuration, mounting 4 Agra 3L medium lasers, 2 per side on directionally variable mountings. The Agra 3L replaced the older 27C because it had a better spectral purity and a more rugged focal system. The Thunderstroke SRM-4 was installed after additional testing showed the need for increased short-range firepower. The resulting mech was the pride of Kurita forces, designed and built at home. It was the optimum mix of speed, jump capacity, and firepower. Oh, BFG cutting. This one's a loud tier. Oof, okay. What is it? It does its job relatively well, but then it starts to take damage. It falls like a firework in a... feels like a firework in a furnace. That's true, yes. Yeah, it wasn't in the clan arsenal until, Wolves Dragoons encountered it and sent one back to the clan space, because the Jenner 2C is actually a really, really new mech in the clan lineup. Alright, I'll give it. The original art does not do the spec any favours. It looks bad. I think it's the first mech in the book that looks kind of shit. Which is a shame, because this is where PGI really saved the Jenner in when MWO was coming out, and this was one of the first mechs in the game. It looked ace. You like these as light hunters with your botman and Comstar for you? Yeah. The issue is its heat management. It's actually quite bad, because 10 heat sinks, you run what you're on 2, you fire a bunch of the medium laser, they're 3 each, so it's like fucking 6, 7, 8. So you can fire 2 of them, and then you're in an issue of, do I go a little over heat to fire another laser or not? It's difficult to use the mech to its full potential on the field. It's a solid, like, one most touring commanders and pilots would be jizzing themselves over. It is fast, 7 walk, 11 run. It's pretty decent. Armor is woeful. 4 armor. I mean, if it gets hit by medium, instant roll for crit. That's bad. Especially when 50% of your weaponry is held in the arms. You think I think the Rifleman on the Rifleman heat metric, by the time they actually go for another pass, the heat should have died down in the meantime. Yeah. Visually, though, we have to rank it on its visuals, its loadout, and I don't know where does that put it? Where are people thinking here? Because I've got a soft spot for the Jenner, so I mean I'm tempted to go Comstar stockpile, but I'm willing to hear other discourse here about this one. Where do people think that this thing is going to go? You think it's the first mech that can knee itself in the head? Well, it's instant Turing God tier. I mean, if it can kick itself in the head, like we're talking about, something that other mechs just can't do. Yeah, we're already talking about something quite special there, but we may have to. We may have to factor in some other elements here. Now, the man you said it was bottom end of Comstar for you, so you're saying it's behind the Locust and the Wasp, currently. The base general that can still hold its own in later eras. Yeah, that's true. That is true. It's not a slouch in the weapons department. That is one of its main strengths. I mean, I'm happy at bottom end of Comstar stockpile here. Looks awful. Great to flank and threaten. Okay. I think we're all kind of in a consensus here that despite looking like a dog's dinner, it's a good mech. It deserves to be in a higher spot. Okay, I think we're all good here. We're all fine. Going once. Going twice. It's the Jenna. Okay. Ah, the Ostscout. This is a mech that I don't think has ever been officially included in any of the PC games. Obviously, it's in like HBS BattleTech and in mods and stuff. The Ostscout was designed for one purpose: scouting. Its maneuverability, high speed, and jump capacity allow it to avoid trouble easily. Poorly gunned and armoured, it can only engage the lightest of mechs with a reasonable assurance of victory. Enhanced sensor arrays and a high-resolution targeting and tracking system supply the OTT with a constant stream of data about its surroundings. Powerful narrowband communications equipment allow the Ostscout to report from deep inside enemy territory. He looks like he's sitting down. That's first problem that you encounter with this mech. There's a chair that was drawn here originally, and he was having a nice old sit down, and then someone said, "Luce, what are you doing? Dwayne, look up from the fucking page, mate. Get rid of the chair. It's not reclining, okay? What's going on with the weird mustache, hey? Were you taking the piss? I mean, we're gonna have to use it. We'll run out of time. We're gonna have to go to print. This we're gonna just get rid of the chair and just send that as is, okay? Whatever's going on with the mustache, the weird quad nipple loadout, or whatever you're doing with that, we'll come up with something. What's this? The weakest mech overall. Top tier Comstar mech. Telecommunications companies go hard and go deep. Potato shaped bastard. Moonwalking. Top tier all the way. Amazingly chill. It is amazingly chill, yes, this is true. You've got 6 of those worthless mechs. There's a fair amount of swagger going on, especially this arm here. It's like, yo, it's just lean out. Give it some skin. Over specialized, others can do the same job. This is one of those sad parts of the BattleTech sort of setup, is that it has a great in-universe write-up for what it's meant to do. It talks about how it has this very advanced piece of tech that's there to basically scan huge areas of terrain around it, which then it can digitally map, send back to the base, and obviously it gives them like a nice 3D representation of the terrain, which has literally no point in the game. It has an amazing piece of in-universe write-up. It fits perfectly. It's great for that reason, but it looks like ass. It can't fight to save its life, so there's very little to no reason to use it. If there were some rules that could incorporate the system, somewhere in here it mentioned, doesn't it? Whatever it's called, the specialized. It just says specialized equipment, but you know, it can record environmental, hydrological, geological information, unusual features automatically noted and brought to the pilot's attention by the system. It's really fucking cool idea. The only time I could ever think of using an Ostscout would be in a themed game where a player has to navigate the map and like, oh, you have to reach this objective location, and then you use your Ostscout systems to map for, you know, as part of like a lance that's been inserted into a planetary system early ahead of a raider or an invasion force, and you're gaining intel on the locations that the drop sites are going to be and what kind of terrain that they're going to be using. It's cool for that. The new art is a big improvement. Yeah, I agree, ETG. The new art does make it look a lot better. The Alien Worlds map set was made for this mech. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, but unfortunately, I don't. In fact, the the art there is one of the other one. His little dinky arms, but it's got to be in the Davin Junkyard. It's got to be below the Urbi, I think. The BattleTech guys make the Ostscout look respectable. Yeah, they have done an improvement. I actually think this is the original, but I think this might be incorrect art. I can't remember now. Because later on, there's another one where it has a little round head. There's two little arms. But yeah, as it says, poorly armed and armored. It's got to be low tier though. It's got to be low tier. Panther. Well, I mean, there's no discussion. It's Turing God tier, right? There's no discussion about this, right? Panther, yeah, exactly. My boy, yeah. Designed as a fire support vehicle for reconnaissance units, the prototype Panther was first built for Star League during the closing years of the Cameron dynasty. After being commissioned in 2739 to produce the mech, Alshane Weapons began immediately delivering Panthers to the League and its ground troops fighting renegade bandits along the periphery. The mech's poor performance at the Battle of St. John in 2759 pointed out both a flaw and a strength in it. The flaw was that the large laser carried in the mech's right hand lacked effective range and power. The strength was that its basic hardiness. To improve this battle-worthy machine's firepower, Star League engineers replaced the large laser with a PPC. The Draconis Combine is the only successor state that today uses the Panther in any significant number. The current model, the 9R, is a compromise, developed by Combine engineers. Though lacking the original Panther's sophistication, its systems are more adaptable to present-day factories. It looks mean. Like, it looks fucking angry, doesn't it? It's great. It's big fucking gun on the side. I was so sad when PGI did that size normalization thing where they sort of had weapons shift size based on the actual chassis rather than it just being a big fucking gun. Because look, the original art, the PPC is big. It's longer than the arm itself. If the Urbanmech was designed to actually be used, you get a Panther. Yeah. The tankiest of light mechs. Yeah, oh yeah, it's got firepower, it's got armor. It doesn't need to get anywhere quick because it will fuck you up with the PPC. It's jump capable, so it can get on top of that. And yes, it is a Lord's Light PPC. I mean, you can't go wrong with one of the best names for a weapon system in BattleTech. You'd struggle to find something better than that, wouldn't you? Personally, for me, at the moment, it is Turing God tier. It's top of the top. It's better than the Stinger by a huge margin. But don't worry, as I said, we can go through the whole thing later on. We can go through the whole list a little later down the line. But yeah, I don't think there's. I mean, even its targeting tracking system is called Cat's Eyes 5. Come on, it's all fucking there, people. It's all fucking there. Slapping an LB10 on a Panther way back in MWO. Yeah, you could do some mad shit with the Panther. The ballistic variant that they added to the game. Yeah, I can't remember. There was someone in Tor who I think had an AC2 variant of it, and they were just, or they messed around somehow. They got some like ridiculous firepower rate of fire out of it. I think that was back in the quirkening when they went mad with quirks, and it just got out of hand. Alright, we're in the first medium, the Assassin. Many of the purchasing agents, or as we can see here with the purchasing agents, because, you know, they didn't spell check or, you know, proofread this bit. For the Star League's military branch seem to have overstepped their authority in the case of the Assassin battle mech. Although a new light mech wasn't required in great number, lobbyists for Maltex Corporation managed to gain several key contracts for the production of this mech. Despite all the politics involved, the Assassin turned out to be a successful mech in combat. Its ample firepower, good armor protection, and speed have made it a popular model. Its mobility essentially seems to be the key in its success in battle. The original art makes it look like a child cosplaying as a mech. It's just like a little kid stood there in the suit, you know. Oh, man. It could be your LB2 racer, man, yeah, with the Panther thing. It's such a bollocks mech stock. All the smallest guns, please. I'll have the smallest weapon systems available. I like the assassin. This art doesn't do it any favors. Later on, obviously, there was a bit of an improvement. It looked a lot better later on. And I think MWO or PGI and then later on Catalyst did a really good job modernizing the design. They did make the assassin look good. Weapon system, though, oof. It's not great, is it? It has a gormless idiot look about it with the art. Yeah, it's going, huh? What's going on? It is a bit like that, yeah. The 101 variant is only mildly better. Yeah. The assassin's in Lao for you. Okay, it's okay for multi-roller. The weird thing is about the assassin is that it's written as being, it's a light mech hunter. It's a light mech killer. With this weapon loadout? I mean, really? It seems like it's better suited to kind of fast harassment. But yeah, it isn't a light mech hunter. Because a light mech hunter would be something that could keep up with a light mech and then just fuck it up with SRMs. So you oh god. Hold on. Oh. You see, this is why I wasn't playing a game today, because this is the message. Oh, parcel force, huh? Oh, I will listen to the message. Yeah. What number of the fucking delivery? Who? Right, okay, whatever. Right, well, that's that done. Sorry. Right. So many items all delivering on the same day. That's why I'm doing this instead. But a delivery from the giant dildo factory will be with you today. Yes. How did you know, Yobba? How did you guess? Yeah, the assassin. It's definitely below the Javelin in that sense. It is reservist junk, I think. Yeah, I agree, BFG. I think most of the lights on this list, like, you wouldn't send an assassin to chase down a Commando, for instance. The Commando would fuck it up. It's not even really got the armor to stand up to much. Is it the one with the JCB star buttons? You can use it with lights to hunt down a light. Can use it to scout, to spot, or turn enemies for the threat behind. Not anything great, yeah. Nah, it's definitely in the lower tier, isn't it? Definitely in the lower tier. Okay, Cicada. Many small manufacturers entered the battle mech industry as tensions mounted near the time of the fall of the Star League. In this period, Hartford Co., a known manufacturer of fine communications and targeting systems, began constructing mechs from their home planet of Bryant, near Earth. Their single contribution to battlefield technology was the Cicada, which went into limited production in 2840. With Bergen Industries holding almost a total monopoly on the contracts for small recon mechs, Hartford Co. proposed a mech heavier than the Locust made by Bergen. It would be armed with the well-proven Magna laser system and be as fast as the Locust but weigh twice as much. Most important, the price was right. Star League took a limited contract for the Cicada, shipping it to replace many of the Locusts lost in border areas. See, doesn't the write-up doesn't make sense. How can, if the League are apparently taking it, but it entered limited production in 2840? I mean, isn't that after the fall of the League? But apparently Star League took sales of it. But whatever. Original art. It's a bit of a mixed bag, this one, isn't it? I can see that the original art was meant to make it look like it's sprinting across the battlefield. But we're talking about a mech that's, again, it's got weapons in the side torsos, but then both side torsos have got 6 armor, 3 on the rear as well. It's very poorly armored. But then again, even a walk, it's going to give it a decent amount of defense. It does look like it's doing a cartoon tiptoe, yeah. Yeah, it's trying to sneak past a dog that's sleeping or something. You're saying it going straight into the Davian junkyard? Soft side, bottom of Lao, top of Davian. Weapons, weight, speed, and cost. There are others that do it better. Yeah. It's not. It's definitely not anyone's. I doubt it's anyone's first choice, right? I don't think anybody's going to go, oh, I have to pick a 40-tonner. Definitely the Cicada. I don't think we're in there, are we? The newer art, yeah. It is good for like starter players kind of thing. It's decent, but yeah, as far as it's no one's first choice. no, it's the one Cicada you respect is the PPC one, mainly because it has some degree of bite at range. Yeah, militia mech. Yeah. It's definitely a mech that as a GM you can, for players, you can throw a couple of them onto the field because they're not going to do enough to kill the players, but they could do enough to cause them a bit of a headache because they're so fast. So I could, I could spend time just running it 12 or using its full run movement each turn and probably give it a decent enough thing that it makes it a bit frustrating for players to hit, but also quite rewarding for when they do hit it, because when they do, they're likely to cause a lot of damage and go internal and start rolling some crits. So there's that dopamine sort of like, oh yeah, I'm going to fuck it up kind of effect for it. As far as that's concerned though, with the art, with it's, I don't know, I don't think it's above the Urbi, because I think the Urbi could actually kill something given it half a chance. So, but it's definitely better than the Ostscout. So I think it's Davian Junkyard personally. The AC5 variants, well, see, there are better variants definitely, but basing it off just what we have here, we'll go with there, I think, for now. As I said, by the end of it, we can go through the whole thing. Right, so the Clint, or the CLNT-2-3T. Andoran Industries began construction of the CLNT-2-3T under the Star League Armaments Act of 2507, which law provided border areas with the latest in battlefield technology. The Andoran Industries project resulted in the construction of over 200 of this class. The original Clint prototypes mounted a heavier autocannon, the Armstrong Buster class, and carried more ammunition. However, the chassis of these models developed stress problems, and the armament was downgraded to its current configuration. This mech functioned as a recon mech, as well as a well-armed lower-end medium. Its history and combat performance showed that it served those purposes well. Sorry, I forgot to... I'm yakking so much, I'm starting to make my throat go a bit weird. I have a real soft spot for the Clint. That art right there is fucking great. Dirty Harry inspired for sure. It's definitely like Clint Eastwood style. He's pointing the gun at you. He's asking you if you feel lucky, punk. The ears remind me of Wheeljack. So there's also the Transformers kind of link for me there. It looks like it's got an angry little face on it. Was all of your enjoyment for this extension you put in a light AC5 and Ferro 1 in BTA did decent with just some spare tonnage for armor. I just really like it. Middle of Lao few, good for militia or outer systems. Middle of Lao though, but I love it so much. Oh, it looks like so they put the head on later. I really like it though. It's great. I like the Clint. I wouldn't put it in Lao personally. I think it's in the curating on the list. If I had a choice, it's Turing God tier, but I think that's going to cause a riot. So I think it's curating on the list personally. It's better than the Spider. It's better than the Firestarter. You think the Taurians would have a few Clints on deck? They would, but you'd say Comstar tier must round out the 40-tonners, or worse, were rounded. Is it better than a Jenner? Yeah, I'd say it's better than Jenner. You'd rather have a Firestarter over the Clint, man? Really? Alright, for now, the Clint can be in the Comstar stockpile, okay? But, you know, once this list fills out a bit more, we'll see where things kind of fall. The Hermes II. One of the few mechs conceived and created in the post-Star League era, the Hermes II serves the armed forces of the Free Worlds League as a heavy scout. A relatively new design, the mech first came off the production lines in 2798. Early versions bore their autocannon in the center torso, with their various controls and wiring spread out into the right and left torso. The idea failed miserably. However, even as the lightest chest hit would knock out the autocannon, the current design uses a more conservative arrangement with the autocannon built into the left arm. Named after an ancient Greek god, the Hermes II carries its heat sinks on its heels, which makes it resemble the winged feet of its namesake, who was the messenger of the gods. It's not the best looking, let's face it. It's got similar loadout to the Clint, AC5 with a medium laser. It just adds a flamer instead of 2 medium lasers. It's distinct. This should be next to the Clint, cheaper, and the same loadout. Well, I mean, it's virtually the same loadout. I mean, it's got a flamer, though, instead of another medium laser. I think, personally, the Clint edges it out because of the second medium, because it's got more damage potential. It's an under-tier mech, along with the Shearworth. I think it's decent. It's decent armor. It's in the 40-ton bracket. It's a mech that I always lamented never seeing in MWO. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have seen what they would have done with a Hermes II. You're going for a pee when the Shearworth comes to see. Don't spoil the stream for me, are you? You know when you come back, it'll be on Taurian God tier. It's a heavier mech for those places that can't afford anything else. Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I would put the Hermes II in the reservist junk pile. Where I'd put it above an assassin, definitely. Possibly, actually, I'd probably put it at the front of the reservist junk pile. All right, yeah, I think all right. Like the Clint probably isn't Comstar. Okay, Clint probably isn't. I'd say the Clint's better than the Spider. Maybe not as versatile as Firestarter, I think. But I definitely think the Hermes II is not as good as a Clint. Purely based on the looks. Because it looks a bit naff, let's face it. It's not doing anything special. It's unique, but it doesn't look great. Vulcan. The need for a strong anti-infantry mech with offensive capabilities was realised during the battles against Stefan the Usurper. In many conflicts, especially urban combat, infantry could render smaller mechs inoperative. To solve the problem, Mather Techno Incorporated introduced the VL2-T Vulcan. This battle mech reached the front line during General Kerensky's landings on Earth, where it earned a reputation as a tough urban fighting machine. Its flamer system, machine gun, and heavy armour performed effectively against infantry. The autocannon system was originally designed as an anti-mech system, but served well in city fighting. It's, you know, I've never disliked it. This is another Taurian tier mech for you, BFG. Yeah, I mean, I would troll many a person to put the Vulcan in the Taurian God tier. Civilian suppression specialist, anti-riot vehicle. Yeah, it is that. Yeah, it's definitely that. The plinkiest of the autocannons. Oh, what's that? Is that a bro? I believe it's a bro. Bro.
Oh, Mr. Rocket, sir.
Oh no.
Oh, Mr. Rocket, look.
Oh, what? Jesus.
Look,
what?
I need to stay here, Mr. Rocket.
Why do you need to stay here? What
I
was
need
it?
to stay here.
What?
The guard here after me, Mr. Rocket.
The guard? What?
The filth.
The
Sir,
filth?
The
What?
long arm of the law.
Oh!
The boys in blue.
Have they finally caught up with you after all those shady deals you've been doing?
The Sweeney, sir. The Sweeney, you know.
That was a TV series.
It was about police, for fuck's sake!
Alright, there's no need to get aggressive. Anyway, it's fine. You can stay here. There's no problem. I mean,
Right.
I wouldn't keep looking out the window though like that. You're definitely going to make it look more suspicious than it already is.
George, there's a big lorry and I was having a look.
Oh, okay, you're in an obsession with lorries.
I like lorries. Is that a bad thing?
Look, we're rating the technical readout vehicles. We're up to the Vulcan at the moment.
The Vulcan, so it. All right, the Vulcan.
Yobbo, go on.
What's that supposed to mean?
What this
That's
is?
racist.
That's the upper end of Curitan for you. Good at what it does. Can fill out other roles. I see. I'll have a cup of tea. Go on. Great, you can join in again.
What is this?
This is the Vulcan.
That's the Vulcan, is it? Is it missing arms?
No, those are
Or-
weapons.
or hands?
No, those are guns.
Right.
So, yeah. Who was it? This is the upper end of Curitan honor list.
What is?
It's Vulcan ridiculous. Oh, come on, Yobbo.
I'd say it's no better than a C. Maybe a D.
Oh, it's Curitan honor list then. That's C. Is it better? It's definitely better than a Spider. Is it better than a Clint? I don't know. Is it better than a Commando though?
No! Are you mad? Have you all lost your effing minds? It's a Vulcan.
Have the bro put a balaclava on to be less suspicious when looking out the window?
Who's the bro?
The head is so round you can ponder it in your off time. Alright, it's Curitan honor list. It's better than a Spider. Is it better than a Clint? I don't know. It belongs on the Enterprise. Oh man. I really like it. It's distinct, it's unique. It's not got a great weapons loadout, but it's got decent armor for what it is.
Are you going by the way it looks or what it
There's
can
a few
do?
there's a few factors.
I'm confused by the rules.
There's the looks department, the original art, and then we've got the loadout, okay?
Right?
Your accent
You're right there.
I'm fine.
Good.
I'm fine as it is.
We'll keep up the pretense then.
The mini is fragile as fook. I've got one on the desk here. It's fine. Never had an issue with it at all. It's actually a half decent paint scheme as well. Are you actually looking for the mini?
There's not one on here.
There is. There's a red one.
Ah, there is.
Yeah.
He's no word of a lie.
It's right there.
Yes.
It's a tad dusty. Let's,
The mini's fine.
no,
A tad dusty. When was the last time you cleaned any of the stuff on here?
a while ago.
Right.
Just because most of the
What kind of mechs are these ones?
the Transformers.
Oh,
All right.
GoBots.
It's fine. It's fine. I've got the mini right now, yeah, but there's something wrong with
The
it.
GoBots. I remember them.
Fuck off. Not GoBots.
The GoBots.
Jesus Christ.
Cycle and
Oh,
Leader 1.
You're going to make it brew if you keep up with that.
How are you going to force me to do that?
Punch
Whilst
you,
you're doing this?
punch you in the dick
I can
repeatedly.
punch you back.
No, I have to hit you in the dick first.
You ever get me with a dick punch?
Okay,
Never.
dick elbow.
I'll get you with the horse punch.
Transformers. The gorilla has the center spot. Oh no! You see, you started it now. Anyway, it's the Whitworth. Dun 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 dun. The Whitworth was first built in 2610 as a scout mech intended to fill the gap between the light Wasp and the medium Phoenix Hawk. Whitworth's development program soon produced a well-armed, versatile vehicle. Although slower than other scout mechs, the Whitworth made up for it with the protection given by its excellent Duralex light armor. The Whitworth was initially armed with Harpoon 6 SRM launchers. Star League defense planners replaced these with Longbow 10 LRMs on most models in an effort to discourage mech warriors from engaging the Whitworth in close combat. Known to critics and admirers alike as the Tin Woodsman, the Whitworth served throughout the Age of War and then into the Star League Scout afterwards. Star League's death throes also brought the destruction of many Whitworths, serving as they did in heavy combat zones, survivors being quickly recruited into the forces of the noble houses that replaced the Star League. In the present Successor States era, Whitworths continue to serve their units well. Oh, Yobbo's running off to the loo so he doesn't ruin the stream because he hates the Whitworth so much. Now,
Right. Whitworth's a good mech.
personally, I think it looks great. I've never had an issue with the old Whitworth. Yes, I agree, so Rycross. Solid fire support style trooper mech, yeah. It's not doing anything special, but it does its job well.
I hear
personally.
someone's been stuck in one of them on the old game and for ages.
He's had the opportunity to get a new mech and he just won't take it.
When has he had an opportunity?
A few.
Those other grasping bastards get all the new stuff.
What's
And
this?
then one of them went and died.
The moose did die, yes. Nipple launchers. What this little bit, yeah, little LRM-10 launcher on here. I really like the design though. I think it's stood out. All right, the feet are a bit strange. I'm not quite sure how the feet work. Lower side of Kurita for you, BFG. Middle of Kurita for you, Naman. A bit chesty. Let's just hope the old man doesn't need a hip replacement again. Yeah, those hip actuators are a bit fragile. Lower end of Kurita. I mean, I'm tempted to put it there. Bam. Second place. Second place in Cretan Honor List.
Better than a Vulcan.
Yeah.
You were going to put a Vulcan better than a Commando, you shite.
I could be. Look, I've said multiple times, when all the mechs are in that, we can go back through just quickly and we can change some of them. Look, current, Turian God tier. Panther, Stinger. I don't think there's any complaints there.
Right.
Comstar, Stockpile, Wasp, Locust, and Jenna. I think it's fine.
Nice.
Cretan Honor List, Valkyrie, Whitworth, Commando, Firestarter, Clint, Vulcan, Spider. Lao, Reservist, Junk, Hermes II, Javelin, and Assassin. And then the Davian Junkyard, the Urbanmech, Cicada, and Ostscout.
Alright.
Yeah, did you have any problems with that at the moment?
No, I guess not.
No, you see, I think we're all
Is
good.
a spider not better than a Vulcan?
No, it's a fucking spider, it's shite.
It's very fast.
Yeah, a couple of medium lasers, it's fragile as fuck. Oh, and it's got bright red paint, like lines all in it, so it's easier to spot from a distance. It's not a smart idea.
Oh, it's easier to spot from his... I forgot that the 3-story mech with red bits or not might be difficult to spot.
It's
at a
easier to spot. It's
distance.
easier to spot compared to others, though.
They're effing massive.
This is a subjective list. It isn't meant to be accurate or correct. Damn it, Yobbo! It is entirely accurate. I don't want it that close to the Davian name. The all caps is great. That's great. Alright, the Blackjack. General Motors' original contract called for the production of a medium battle mech with insurgency suppression and fire support capabilities. The result was the Blackjack, a 45-ton mech armed with lasers and autocannon. The production model differed from early prototypes in replacing the twin arm-mounted GM Flashpoint Flamers with heavier, more reliable Class 2 Whirlwind and L autocannons. This also required replacing the original Vox 225 power plant with the lighter GM 180, which reduced the Blackjack's speed and endurance. Whitworth jump jets were added to increase the mech's mobility. Despite the fact that the Blackjack fulfilled all of its production requirements and was a good medium mech, General Motors wasn't prepared for the reaction to it. Having somehow developed a bad reputation, the Blackjack was rejected by both Star League and its mech warriors, and so production was cancelled after only a few years. The original art, I don't know, does it do it justice or not?
You can't hate on the original art.
No, I'm just saying in terms of, like, does it look immediately good? Like, do you go like, oh, I definitely want to pilot one of those kind of things? Does it look cool? I don't
Heck
know.
no.
No, it doesn't. No, the Blackjack does not live up to that. The art is better than the model. Yeah, it has been improved obviously over the years. It looks great now. It looks like it's waving its funny mustache man time. It's a bit weird looking. I don't know. I've personally never really felt not another trash can like the another trash can like the Irving. No, I don't know. I don't think it's like an Irby. Okay, firepower and cheap. Yeah, I've never really been that enamored with the mech personally. Or look at what a vehicle that's got a decent spread of weapons. It's I don't know why there's this big gap between the arm and the leg part here, but 12 armor on the arms at least is a bit more respectable compared to some mechs that have got, you know, some of their main weapons are 45 rounds of ammo split between both cannons, not too bad. So you can stay in the fight for the entire fight, but it's only AC2s. What's this? No, because the placement of the medium lasers on that arc confuses me. Yes, it does make it look like all of the lasers are on the arms, despite the fact that there's only one laser on each arm. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, and there's definitely no lasers mentioned here on the side torsos. Well, take the arms off and it looks like a dildo. Oh, fucking hell. That's an odd-shaped fucking dildo, ETG.
What kind are you sticking up your wrong?
You fondly remember your BTA Omni Jack had 6 mortars, a large medium laser, an LR15 with some nice flames. Like, Jesus Christ. What the fucking have? Like an ultralight engine in it or something, like XXL engine. Top of Lao, yeah. I think I tend to agree with that. It's definitely better than Hermes II, better than Javelin, better than Assassin. Definitely, it is a bit junky. Ribbed for pleasure, good marketing slogan. It does indeed view. It has girth. What the fuck? This is not becoming a rate the dildo stream, okay? That's not how we're going. That's next week. Right, the Hatchetman. The HCT-3F Hatchetman is a very unusual mech. Built to provide covering fire, the mech possesses a Class 10 autocannon that provides accurate and deadly fire at a distance. The Hatchetman's hatchet is a deadly tool when used in city fighting. The mech's origins are uncertain. Currently, the Lyran Commonwealth is the only successor state to produce the mech. Nevertheless, rumours say that it was designed by none other than the enigmatic Dr. B. Banzai and Team Banzai of the Federated Suns. Commissioned into the Commonwealth Forces in 3023, a Hatchetman is presently used to supplement units garrisoning larger cities. What do you mean? It doesn't compete with my bad dragon products, damn it. My bad dragon products are doing very well. Is it worse? Is it worse than a spider? Oh, that's a good point with the Blackjack. Is it worse than the spider? No, the spider immediately, yeah, it's getting downgraded. It's like, as more mechs are getting added, the spider's slowly falling down this list. Spider's probably still better than Assassin, though. So, I'm sorry, Spider. You've been knocked off the Curator on the list. I'm sorry. You're down there. You do your job well, but you just...
You kept it on there all that time, with the Curatans, and now you've put it lower than any of the other Lao. Other than an Assassin. Are you a mentalist? If it was a Curitan honour, wouldn't it be the top of the Lao? You crazy, crazy bastard, you. Are you going to need a minute? Are you alright?
Yeah, but... but compared to the other mechs on the reserve, it's not above a Blackjack or a Hermes II.
Then why was this up there and then down there then?
Because earlier in the list, these weren't there.
That makes no sense.
Hatchetman is just above the Whitworth view. What? Come on, the Hatchetman's Taurian god tier, right? Straight off. Yeah, it's amazing. It looks neat, but it dies early. What? What's to like about a mech that's got very fucking skinny armor? It looks great though. I mean, come on, its looks are definitely going to help it out, right?
Yes, but it doesn't make it Taurian tier.
It's Taurian god tier, right?
No, it's perhaps the lower end of the count stack.
No miracle standard on the list. Racism and cultural appropriation. The Hatchetman and Charger share a lifestyle in a way. Nah, it's alright. I agree. It's not Taurian god tier.
No, I just said that.
Not listening to you.
You keep your hands off me, sir.
Why does it have testicles next to its head? They're targeting testicles, okay? It's part of the Tharhes Ares 8A targeting and tracking system, also known as the cock and balls. Top tier Davian. No, it's not in the junk. It's not top of the fucking Davian junkyard. It's definitely... It's better than an Assassin. Is it better than a Spider? Yes. Alright, what we'll do... This is how we may have to do it in the future. Okay, right. So we start at the bottom. Is it better than our Scout? Yes.
Obviously.
Is it better than a Cicada?
Yes.
Is it better than an Urbanmech? Yes. Is it better than an Assassin?
Yes.
Yeah. Spider, definitely.
Yes.
Javelin?
Yes.
Hermes II, yes. Blackjack?
Yes.
Vulcan?
I'd say yes.
Yeah, better than the Clint, though.
No.
You don't think it's better than the Clint? Because currently that's where it would sit. That's what I was thinking. What's this guy? My only experience of the Hatchetman is trying to defend that facility in behalf of Stone against medium and heavy mechs, and watching the Hatchetman burn into the ground in the first 3 to 5 rounds. Yeah, it does die quickly. I think that's probably where... I'm happy with it being there and the curator on the list. It's not amazing, but it's not shite. It's better than a fucking Whitworth. No, the Whitworth is exactly where it should be. It's better than a Commando Firestarter Clint. It's perfect in every conceivable way. Right, the Phoenix Hawk. The Phoenix Hawk is a common mech, a versatile model produced in the tens of thousands during the Star League era. August Industries, a manufacturer of the similar Stinger and Wasp, created the Phoenix Hawk by strengthening the internal structure of its basic Stinger chassis, which enabled the new mech to support heavier armor and expanded weaponry. Alright, it looks like it's been caught off guard, and it's kind of like, other than that, what's this? Hermes in the low tier. Are you daft, man? What do you mean? The Hermes should be in the low tier. What was it? Burn the Squeenix Hawk. Yeah, ETG hates the Phoenix Hawk.
Oh, he doesn't know what the hell they're talking about.
It is a nice looking mech. It still looks cool. I'm not sure what angle.
It's a classic design, and it's a good mech. A little hot.
A little hot. a little hot.
Yes, well, the 10 heat sinks
definitely don't help cover all of that heat that's generated. The Phoenix Hawks are a light mech. It's right. It looks terrified. It is, yeah. Hawk is at least better than Assassin. The Phoenix Hawk is wearing a scuba helmet. Named to provoke us, the chat post, just a triggering device. It's not a triggering device. These tiers are exactly right. We don't need a Marika or a Lyran one anyway. So the Phoenix Hawk, okay, so it's better than Ostscout. It's better than Cicada. It's better than Urbanmech. Definitely better than an Assassin and a Spider and a Javelin and a Hermes. Blackjack. Better than a Vulcan, yeah. Better than the Hatchetman.
Yes.
Oh, just better than the Hatchetman.
Yes.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? That's a classic.
There's lots of classics. The art looks like a reject Transformer. It failed to even make the Go Boss, for fuck's sake.
It's Jetfire.
It's Jetfire, yeah. Alright, it's better than Hatchman and Clint. Better than Firestarter. Better than Commando, though? I mean, in a few areas. Rocket, large laser machine guns. Classic doesn't mean good, says a Ratnash, yeah. On open ground, better than the Hatchman. In a dense city, could use its own hatchet. You're thinking it's between the Mando and the Whitworth. Ooh. Yeah, it could sit there. You take a Cicada over the... Yeah, but you hate the Phoenix Hawk, ETG. That's better than the Shitworth. No. It's not better than Shitworth. Not better than Shitworth. So, I'm starting to wonder if the Valkyrie should be top of the Curating Armor list, though. Should it really be there, or should the Valkyrie really move down a bit at this point? Because I think better mechs are starting to creep into the list. You think it is above the Clint? It is. Yeah, the Phoenix Hawk is above the Clint. Yeah. All right. We'll see. The list will change. The Vindy. Much like the old joke about the camel, the VND-1R Vindicator is the product of compromise and not inspiration. As Capellan Confederation designers created this mech to fit as many roles as possible, it is capable of fire support, point defense, and offense, though only in lackluster fashion. The First Succession War has proved disastrous for the Confederation, who lost all but one of its mech-producing facilities. The remaining mech plant on the heavily industrialized planet of Capella was limited to the production of mechs of less than 60 tons. Also, because the Confederation had few materials to build mechs, its engineers decided to build a mech that was capable of several roles, yet could be built with meager resources. The Vindicator was designed and built in 28-26 during the lull between the First and Second Succession Wars. The first Vindicators had machine guns mounted on their left arms instead of the small laser seen on current models. I mean, there's a weird bit where it looks like it has a Union Jack on the inside of the missile bay door there. The Vindicator, I still really like. It does look cool. It's a DeLorean battle mech. It does have swagger. Yeah, it's got a swagger walk to it. This is next to the Panther for you, man. What? Really, the Vindicator is next to the Panther. This is Taurian god tier technology we're talking about here.
It's a very good mech.
Most folks like it, but only wankers have it.
What?
That's what you said. He's just got a hard on for PPCs. What do you mean? The Stinger's up there, Skymaster, in Taurian God tier. It's got a nary a fucking PPC near it. The Vindy is a committee mech, yeah. You have 15 of them, so does that mean you're a wanker times 15? You can respect the Vindy for what it is. Solid trooper. Mounting the PPC gives it more field time than the Clint or the Enforcer.
I would say it's a Comstar staple.
You think it's a Comstar tier mech?
Aye.
I'm inclined to agree. There is something good. I would say it's probably top of Comstar stockpile currently. I think that's where it is.
Yes.
It's not doing anything special, but it's a great trooper. It's definitely up there with some of the greats.
Good at different ranges. With the LRM and the medium lasers.
Laser.
And it has that punch with the PPC.
It does, yeah. The series arm smasher. Oh, for fuck's sake.
What is with all these phone calls?
They're all about the deliveries.
The bloody deliveries. You're Satan's fucking...
You're saying the generous top of the Comstar pile. Well, we could go through this in the future. Right? The Centurion. The Centurion was designed and built by Korean enterprises as an operational partner for the highly successful Trebuchet. Produced from 2801 until the Korean plant on Ramen II was destroyed in 2845, it boasts a powerful Luxor medium-heavy autocannon and two Photech 806C medium lasers, one of which fires to the rear. For long-range hitting power, it has a chassis-mounted Luxor 3R LRM-10, and this cross-sectional weaponry gives the Centurion a potential damage curve that increases steadily as it nears its target. Unfortunately, many CN9As have developed defects in it. What?
No, and I have a hostage.
I'm not... Oh, shit. I think...
It's the fuzz. They found me. You want me to come out? No.
Wait a minute, they found you?
No, I'm staying here.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
Just
what?
Just one car and a fella with a dog. And I'm not even sure the fella with the dog is a police.
Well, I mean, for around here, that's a lot. I'm not a hostage.
You are.
I've looked, I can do this with my arms. I'm not a hostage. I'm not tied down or anything, see?
The hostages don't have to be tied down.
Well, I don't really feel much like a hostage. I feel a bit insulted by this current scenario.
Well, what kind of sandwiches have you got?
Oh, are they doing sarnies?
Egg.
Eggs.
Egg and cress.
Egg and cress.
What kind of sandwich is that?
They're going to have to try a bit better than that.
That's all you've got.
What, no chicken and bacon?
No, that's for the police.
Oh, fucking hell.
Just egg and cress. I don't want egg and cress.
Oh, yeah.
You can phone me back.
Iraq Nash has asked, did you take your tracking bracelet off? That might be how they found you.
Oh, but I was given that for free, and it's very nice. And I've had stickers put on it.
You had stickers put?
Look, yes.
Oh, there's
Go Faster one.
There's a shamrock on there, yeah.
Yes, that's a good one.
Oh, it's green as well. Did you paint it green, or was that the colour that came in?
Of course it... No, that's the colour they come in.
Oh, okay, fair enough. No, fair enough.
He was looking, yes. Yes, that's right.
Okay. Bit to explode you, it's poor side torso armor. The original Centurion just looks so nice. I wish the head was... I wish they kept the head design in MWO. I don't know why they changed it. Harebrained Scheme CN9A is god tier.
They're looking into the situation with the Sarnies.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in the northwest. The butties.
Yeah, if you want to just take that to the kitchen for us. Okay, just put it in the sink. If you feel like rinsing the cup out and maybe bake a brew.
Why should I make the bloody brew?
Because I'm running this stream. I'm not the one who's getting chased by the police.
This is a load of old crap.
This is not a load of old crap. There's deliveries
Just
arriving.
looking at pictures from 1980. heckin' for?
I think it's 1984, isn't it? Yeah, it's up there.
That's good. When I got my copy.
That doesn't mean that's when it came out. It might come out in 1983 and it was just a bit slow getting over here. Hey? You didn't think about that, did you? You didn't think about that, did you?
No, there's no need for that. And you're the...
Ow!
My insurance policy.
You play Marek on tabletop, never knew the reason why you never got PPC, so you just played your opponents to shoot the PPC until they overheated, and then run in with 3 or 4 Hermes and bash them over the head with the AC-10. Let the bro chat shit for a mech. Okay, alright, well there we go. So where would you rate the Centurion?
The Centurion, right. This is an excellent mech. A good all-rounder. Now, what a lot of people perhaps don't realise with the Centurion is it has a most unusual quirk. Now, most of the targeting systems on a mech, if you change over weapons, the system doesn't recognise the new weapon properly.
Okay.
And this can cause a lot of issues. Now, the Centurion, on the other hand, has an unusually accommodating, shall we say, targeting system, meaning that there's probably more variance going around with people using all kinds of different weapon loadouts of a Centurion effectively than most other mechs. Now, did you know that?
I didn't. I also noticed that Yobbo said that I should make the TYU talk over the mech, but that's not fucking happening.
That sounds fair to me.
No, right, so where were we going to put the Centurion?
The Centurion is definitely a good worker.
Right.
It's better than any of that low-level shite.
Yeah, right. Better than any of the reservist junk, yeah.
Yes, by far.
Right.
Better than... I would say it's a Comstar staple.
You think it's a Comstar staple?
Oh, yes.
Better than a Jenna?
Yes.
Better than a Locust?
Yes.
Better than a Wasp?
I'm going to say yes.
Better than a Vindy?
I'm going to put... Oh, that's a tough one. They're both very good mechs that can serve a similar role.
No.
I would say the Vindy has a more classic look. So, I would put it behind it.
Oh, Centurion then. Going into the Comstar stockpile, the B grade. Okay.
It's a very good mech. Now, here's another thing. Right. You can put one of them up against even a heavy mech, and because it can deliver a decent punch at every range, even that heavy's going to start feeling a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, that's true. it could do a fair amount of damage.
It certainly can.
Going on to the Enforcer, created as a result of Duke Davian's interest in autocannons, the ENF-4R Enforcer performs as a mobile barrage vehicle. In this key combat role, it will lay down a fast and withering pattern of fire with its autocannon and lasers, either as a prelude to an offensive or to blunt an approaching enemy attack. The Enforcer is based on ideas gleaned from detailed plans of an unbuilt mech that Davian forces discovered in an engineering library at Akanar. Though plans have called for 2 medium lasers on the left arm, Davian engineers discovered that the mech was structurally strong enough to handle a heavy laser instead. This proved a better weapon because the heavy laser's range matches that of a Class 10 autocannon. The Enforcer was commissioned by House Davian in 2777.
Ah, look at that.
Well, it's rubbish. It needs to go into Tier 5 without discussion.
What does this?
That's what Yamo just said. Low-level Curita, says BFG. You have a lot of these, says Yobbo. A solid mech, just not enough AC ammo. 10 rounds a shot, yeah.
Now, this is an excellent guard mech.
Oh, yeah, Cool earlier. I did place it with. It's in Curita. It's in the Curita level. Upper end of Curitan for you. It has a Top Gun helmet. It does. It has a very unusual head design. I was so sad when they changed it for NWO. It needed that impressive set of shades that it's wearing. And they just didn't give it. No rear armor at all. No, it doesn't. 4 and 3, yeah, that's pretty bad rear armor.
He's saying this is an AC-10, the second most powerful AC
hand cannon
in the universe. And I only have a small number of shots. Now, did I shoot 10 shots or only 9? Do you feel lucky, you son of a bitch?
Defo 5.
What?
No, the Enforcer is not. It's not Davian Junkyard.
Better than all of them.
It's not Davian Junkyard. Is it Curitan? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely on the Curitan honor list. Better than a Vulcan, better than a Hatchetman. Yes, it's better than the Clint. Shit, I only loaded 9 rounds to prevent the jamming. You think it sits amongst the Vindy and the Centurion? Riker has. Oh. I'd put it above... I don't know if I'd put it above Phoenix Hawk, though.
Would you put it above a Commando?
Yeah.
Even though, as a light mech, the Commando's very good at its job.
Yeah, but so's the Enforcer. And it'll kill a Commando in, like, 1 round of fire.
It's not whether it will kill that. It's whether it's good in its... for cost, weight, and capability.
Well,
for what it's
in that regard,
do.
I could have multiple Commandos for the price of an Enforcer, but it's whether the Enforcer... the Enforcer will last longer than the Commandos. In a straight up fight, it's not so ammo reliant either. I mean, it could still punch with that large laser.
Has your decision making been this hodgepodge all the way through? It's terrible. It's worse than my bloody accent.
Between the Clint and the Hatchie, this is where BFG said it should sit.
I think it's nearer the Firestarter.
Yes, you think it's there?
Yes.
Okay, alright.
It's a good, reliable mech, but it's not great.
Oddly enough, this table looked different about perspective. Same goes for Davian Steiner of Fraggles. Alright, okay, we're on that. So, the Hunchback. The HBK 4G
Where's
Hunchback.
My brew?
I'm doing this. You're making the brew.
What?
You're the one who's got me tied up in this bloody siege situation with the police. There's a community support officer outside now.
Yeah, the cops have gone. They weren't that interested.
Right. Well, you're not getting your sandwiches then, are you?
He said he was going to give me a stout kick to the shins. Apparently that's the best a community support officer can do.
So, obviously, Hunchy, not the best looking at, like, it's been improved a lot, obviously, in later years. But you can't really deny its capability on the field. It is fucking tanky as hell. It's got so much armor. It takes a hell of a lot of hits. What's this? You only had to do it once and you would be done for good deeds for the whole year. What were you talking about? What are you talking about, Yobbo? Oh, me making the brew. Is that what you're suggesting, Yobbo? I have to leave him in charge. He'll ruin the whole tier thing. Will be all over the shop. He'll change everything. Community support officer, you mean a peeping Tom in a uniform?
Basically, yes.
I'm making brews all day. All right, Yobbo. It's not.
I do all the brews, you lazy
Not
man.
all of them. Ow! Ow!
The vast majority. That hurts, did it?
It caught the knuckle onto his finger. Fucking hurt.
Ah, that's a crying shame. Don't be slapping me in the face.
Ow, don't slap me in the fod. So they rotated the actual police and replaced them with chimps. Yeah, chimps. Look at those feet. Those feet are big. Those are some chunky boots that the Hunchback's got. It's undeniable. It's still a good mech. It's got decent movement speed for its weight, what it's carrying, and yeah, it can be a one-shot murder machine in the right circumstance. It's definitely high up there, right?
But it has obviously that range problem.
It's a mid-range fighter though. It's not terrible. It can weather the storm to get in, and then it can just unload. And it even handles a lot of the heat quite well, doesn't it? Because it can still fire the AC-20 and the medium laser or two without worrying about too much heat. So it can deliver 30 points of damage. And yeah, it is a lot of fun to hit a light with that. Yeah, shutters for the cockpit, yeah, to protect the pilot. Yeah, I'm tempted. I mean, this is definitely in the Comstar stockpile. Yes. This is definitely one of the top. Completely hopeless in most policing situation, the chimps.
I think it could be top of the Comstar.
I don't know if it's better than a Vindicator or Centurion in terms of versatility.
Oh, that's true.
Like, it's better than the Wasp and the Locust in the sense of if you need something to finish off a damage mech or kill something outright, the Hunchback does that job well.
If it's all about killing, then all the assault mechs are going to be at the top. Think about what you're saying now.
No, I just mean in the sense of when you want something that does it straight off. Not every,
yes, that's why it's a comms.
but not every assault mech will be able to instantly kill a target. I mean, the Charger, for instance, or
it's
the
whether
Goliath
it's good in its weight class and whether it's a classic design.
Do you want to run this then, do you? Am I making the brew? Is that what's going on here?
All I'm saying is
your
reasoning is a little lackluster.
Right, well, that's it. Fine. You're running. Right, you've got the trebuchet. I guess I'm making this brew. You take the seat.
I take the seat.
You read the chat, you answer them.
I read the chat and answer them. I can't read.
You can read.
A little bit. Okay, what do I read? This bit here.
Overview.
This is terrible to read. I need my glasses. Conan Enterprises constructed the Trebuchet, or Tree Bucket, from 2790 to 20... What does that say? 2645? That it went backwards in time? There's got to be a 2845 as a mainline medium mech. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? With long-range punch of its twin Zeus LRM-15s and a short-range power of its three Magna Mark I medium laces, the Tree Bucket or Trebuchet is a dangerous opponent at any range. Well, now that's an interesting thing to learn. Tree Bucket always cracks me up. Yes, but everybody calls it that. As I was never intended. Is that right? Is this correct reading? To operate far from its... It looks like it says as. As it was never meant to operate. My eyesight is terrible.
Which bit? As it was never intended to operate far from its supply lines, the Trebuchet received only 8 reloads for each of its missile racks. This limited ammunition supply can become a serious problem if the Trebuchet is trapped behind enemy lines.
I haven't got my reading glasses. The ones that allow me to read instead of being dyslexic. You know them glasses?
Yeah, those ones, yeah. Hey, Kermie. Yeah, trench bucket always cracks me up. Yeah.
Trench bucket, tree bucket, whatever you want to call it. Now, look at that. It's a fine-looking mech. I think we can all agree with that. Very fine. Now,
I'm making a brew, you're doing that.
This is an excellent, excellent support mech, and that's where the mediums are at their best. Now, I reckon this is a pretty good mech myself. I reckon this is going to be a good one. This is. What's everyone else say? Bro, shut that fool up. What, the idiot who's doing the brew? I agree.
Who's telling me to shut up?
Yobbo.
Oh, fucking... Yeah, of course Yobbo. He's just raw about the Whitworth.
Top tier. This is a good mech. It looks good. It's not overly expensive. Now, yes, it doesn't have a huge amount of missiles for them LRMs. But it stays back. Kaplow, kaplow, kaplow. Softens up the enemy. And then... Well, what noise would you do?
Not kaplow, kaplow, kaplow.
I think kaplow, kaplow, kaplow is perfectly fine.
It's a fucking terrible sound effect.
His would be worse, I tell you. Anyway. Swoosh. Swoosh is not a... That's not right. Right. He's complaining in the background there. I just want you to know. Right. But then when the enemy comes in and it's expelled all of its kaplows, it still has... Shut up! It still has the 3 medium lasers. So it can back up the other mechs a little bit. Still softening them up. And if the other mechs think, oh, it's used up all its LRM ammo, it's an easy target.
3 mediums or 3 mediums?
3 medium. 3.
3.
3. 3 mediums. That's what I just said. 3 mediums. Oh, you want your seat
yeah,
back
I want
now?
my fucking seat back.
Oh, he's back now, everyone.
It's my stream.
I hadn't even finished. them 3 medium lasers could still be decent damage.
Yakking on about this thing. Oh, God.
I think this is a very good mech.
All right. I'm 3 mediums and 30 missiles. Yeah.
No, it's 12 missiles. Or 12 shots, should I say?
No, it fires 30 missiles.
Yes, 215s.
Yeah,
right.
30 missiles. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, it does look good. I
very good at his job.
It's in the Comstar. It's in the Comstar stockpile. It's above the Valk. Yeah, it's definitely above the Valkyrie.
Yes.
It's in B tier. Top tier.
No.
It did till a minor friction incident. No god tier.
Trench bucket, tree bucket. It's a good mech.
I think it's there.
Yes.
It's middle of Comstar stockpile. Definitely in that area.
There you go. I handled that with an aplomb.
Oh, you're bringing plums now and you're not sharing them, I see. Dervish. Long the plodding workhorse of successor state ground forces, the DV-6M Dervish has become the focus of a great deal of attention. As the last mech designed to serve the Star League in large numbers, its role on the battlefield is as a poor man's archer, with its LRM-10 and SRM-2 icking of quick fire support where needed, freeing larger mechs for other duties. The Dervish's jump jets makes up for its mobility but lacks in armour. Commissioned in 2520, it received only one major change over the years, the replacement of the 270 GM engine with the present-day 275 core tech to boost its manoeuvrability. Most Dervishes were made before the dissolution of the Star League, and so have served in all corners of the universe.
Now the only one out there is the guy with the dog, and I'm not even sure he's police.
I don't think he's police. I think that's just a man walking his dog. That might be Kulsh. He might be in with Baxter. He's tracked us down at last.
Terrifying.
Mm-hmm. A good mech, the Dervish.
Here he has a short fuse. What is this?
This is better than the Treb behind the Vindy for you, man. Okay. I mean, artwork, it's a bit of a weird one. It looks like standard, it would always have its kind of chest in the way, like it's always trying to push its chest out for some reason. It's a weird one. You're not a fan, BFG, okay? When you use 3 in a lance, it works. I imagine if you use any of them in multiples in a lance, it works a bit better. Like 3 Locust. Oh, I've got triple medium lasers on the target now.
I wouldn't say it's as good as a support mech as the previous mech. Now, my reasoning is this one is relying on ammo even more than the trench bucket.
But it does have more ammo because it's got 12 reloads for each of its LRMs, so it's not sharing the ammo, and it has the separate ammo for its SRMs. Personally, I could probably drop 1 ton of the SRM and have 25 shots spread between the 2 SRMs to give it the extra ton for something like armor instead, or an extra heatsink just to handle it, because where is its heatsinks again?
10.
It's got 10, yeah. So the extra heatsink could be useful there. It's not a bad mech though. It is really, really nice. What's this? No, 3 Cicadas are still shite. That's still 3 medium lasers. Rocket should be right next to and just above the Whitworth. Same roll, basically same firepower, just a teensy more armor. Yeah. I mean, so I mean, you'd put it there, Skymaster. Okay. I haven't picked up Baxter, and I don't have a short fuse. I have a Claymore detonator.
With a short fuse.
I'd agree. I'd agree with it being roundabout there. Yeah, it's not Comstar level. It's definitely on the Curating Honor list, I think, because it's not a bad mech by any stretch. It does do its job well, and it can stay in the fight a lot longer. Its movement is pretty decent, 585, and it's got a decent amount of armor for its weight class. So yeah, I think it sits well there. I think we can all agree on that one.
Yes.
Now the Griffin. It was first put into production in 2492, considered a heavy mech early in its career. The Griffin was superseded by heavier and better armoured vehicles within a century. The design was popular, however, and the Griffin was kept in production, but downgraded to medium status. This mech may currently be found in almost every unit of the successor states. Though it was initially designed as an assault mech, its capacity was soon surpassed by more advanced weapons technology. For this reason, the Griffin was given a new specialty, that of long-range support in medium lancers, a role for which it is well suited.
Look at that.
Yeah, it is a very cool looking mech.
It's incredible, so it is.
Yeah, it's hard to dislike the Griffin. I mean, even with a kind of limited weapon set, once anything gets within a certain range of it, it does struggle, but it is a really, really nice mech.
Although I've always found it strange that in this art they give it that more rounded head, which it doesn't have.
No, it does have.
It's more sloped. But that is a beautiful mech. And it's pretty effective as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, as classic as Top of J. What, Top of J? Hold on, wait. I mean, I'm tempted to go high up with this one. It does stop a Curita for you. Stop a Curita. So you'd put it.
No.
So Naman, you'd put it there, top of the Curitan honors list. I don't know. I'm tempted to actually go Taurian Gods here.
Yes.
Because it does its job perfectly well, combined with the fact that it's good on heat management. It's got plenty of ammo to stay in the fight. It can get away from trouble relatively easy. It's got a good running speed, decent armor, and
it can jump.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They can get out of trouble with that. It's got 12 heat sinks as well.
It's good in versatile locations. So if you're out in the field, it can move reasonably fast. If there's foliage or mountains, it has its jump jets. If you're in an urban environment, it has its jump jets. It has decent armor. It can fire the PPC and run.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it has its LRM. It's a beautiful design, and it's beautiful mech.
Now we got another classic, the Shadowhawk. When originally produced for Star League, the SHD-2H Shadowhawk was considered a multifunction mech. The contract specifically called for a medium with both long and short-range weapons with jump capability. The 2H filled a number of roles in the military forces, from recon to attack. Its diverse armaments made it able to fit into almost any situation where a mech might be needed. Due to pressure plate difficulties, the armor plating system on the Shadowhawk series underwent a major overhaul in 2550. The armor plates internally damaged the myomas that controlled its movement, especially in the lower leg areas. The general replacement affected most of the Shadowhawks and their variants in the field, though some remain unmodified even to this day. Another absolutely beautiful looking mech. You can't really go wrong with a Shadowhawk on the looks department.
Genuinely got weapons for every range.
It has got weapons for every range. Is it an effective fighter in every range? In the sense, like, can it actually fight anything at its weight class?
If one of these fellas is on the table, do you think, oh, it's only one of them, this will be an easy fight? It's only a Shadowhawk. No, you never think that. What?
It's just easy. I would accept the Shadowhawk being god tier, but can't accept the Griffin being god tier.
What?
Whitworth should have been god tier, says Colt.
They're all out of their tiny little minds.
It does have good armor. Yeah, I agree. 23 and 18, 16 on that.
Now, the only thing that makes this lacking...
What?
The only thing...
What?
...is it doesn't have a heavy punch.
No, that's one of my...
Whereas the Griffin has the punch.
This is where I would actually rate this lower than the Griffin, because it can't handle itself one-on-one. It needs to be in an engagement where it's attacking the same target with the mechs.
But look, the design is just beautiful.
It is, yeah. Visually, it's really, really nice.
Yes.
I would be tempted.
It's Comstar.
It is Comstar. I'd say it's above the Jenna. It's above the Locust. It's above the Wasp. In terms of functionality, is it better than the Trebuchet? Probably not, because I think the Trebuchet could kill a target quicker than a Shadowhawk could.
But could a Shadowhawk kill a Trebuchet? and I think it could.
No, I don't. I think the Trebuchet...
It would get in close, and it's got more firepower there.
No, it hasn't. If it gets in close, it's got an SRM2 and a medium laser. I mean, because the AC5 has minimum range issues.
Yes, but you don't get in that close.
Well, you just said close range.
Yes, close, not
the Trebuchet can fire its medium lasers and still do decent damage.
But if it gets in, then it can't use its LRMs properly.
Yeah, but as it's closing, because it's only got jump of 3 and a run, or was it run of 8? The Trebuchet's got at least a turn or 2 of LRM fire, which if it gets good hits on it, that's going to strip armor.
I think its armor would take it. I think it might weather the storm.
I don't know. No, I'm not going to put it above the Trebuchet.
Right, fine. I'll sit here then.
You'd have the Shadow Hut behind the Jenner, right? So I mean, the man would have it at the back end. That's what the man's saying.
The man, you are a fucking idiot.
I think we've got. I believe this is the Scorpion. When Brigadier introduced the Scorpion class, it received mixed reviews. Yes, well, personally for me, I would be very tempted to just go Taurian God tier because I absolutely love the Scorpion, but it is not amazing. It's not. The argument over range means the Griffin needs dropped, but the Griffin does its job perfectly, though. And Yobbo agrees with me. Sorry, bro. There you go. See. Plus, Yobbo also agreed with me. I made this brew.
5 minutes ago, Yobbo was calling you a shite for putting a certain mech, the Phoenix Hawk, in the top tier, and now suddenly you're fucking buddy with him.
It's like a Royal Rumble. Like alliances change on the fly.
It's not. You're just a contrarian piece of shite who's using whatever you can to win your little bloody arguments.
Alright, the Scorpion. I'm willing to put the Scorpion lower down on the list because it looks great. It's a fantastic looking machine, no doubt about it. Its weapon systems are very extreme. It's either, oh Christ, it's right in front of me, fire all the missiles, or hey, I think I could snipe that guy PPC, and it's got nothing in between. It's also, as we've seen from Table Tech, it can be very fragile.
Devros Dalek has used it well.
He has, but I think part of it is because I've been reluctant to shoot him as much, to be honest.
You said you don't want to pick on the cripple.
Kind of, yes.
In a tabletop game, it hardly matters, does it?
It's very weak, though. I mean, for a 55-tonner, its armor protection is very, very limited. Like, as soon as a couple of medium lasers hit the legs, you start having a lot of issues.
It's probably, in truth, a low-tier Curitan mech. Curitan on a list.
Like, it might be
the lowest.
It might be at the very back, I think. The Scorpion covers everything the Griffin does about jumping. Well, no, because the Griffin's got the LRM-10 to complement the PPC while it sits at the back, whereas the Scorpion only has the PPC. Its weapon loadout is superior to the Griffin. What does it do? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, arguably, if everything was to hit, it does 2 points more damage. But that's a hell of a roll. I think on average the Griffin's going to do more. See, ETG is...
The Griffin does more. It's got more armor. It's got better maneuverability. It's way better.
I'm getting the feeling that we're going to get some pushback on the Griffin being in God tier. It's probably going to get moved by the time we've got all the rest on this list. All right, the the Wolverine. Again, another classic. He's got his lunchbox. He's ready to go to work.
It's ammo for his AC.
It's not ammo.
It is. It's ammo for the AC.
Yeah, there's no mech in BattleTech that's ever described as that he presses the button to drop the ammo plate and then slots in another one.
This must be the one.
It's not, because this is a rip-off of the anime artwork.
How dare you?
Now,
Watch your mouth.
The man says this is top tier. All right, this is Taurian God tier, is it? I do really like the Wolverine. It's a bastard when it turns up on a game like HBS BattleTech. It's tanky. It's got a decent short-range weapon set to complement it. Also, I finally found out what we were looking for last night. 2 freaking hours after you left. Traversed the entire map near twice. Switched servers and I accidentally threw a snowball at one of the... at one, and the driver abandoned it. Face to palm interface began after that. Also, the Griffin is not far off the Squeenix Hawk in my hate level. ETG, okay. You know what? There's a couple of calls for this to be Taurian level. I'm inclined to agree. I'd say it's better than the Griffin.
Yes.
It's better than the Stinger. It's not better than the Panther, though. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to beat the Panther and the Taurian God tier, but the Wolverine definitely deserves to be up there. It's a great mech. It's a dwarf, in my opinion. If we're talking in fantasy terms, this is the dwarf of the party. It's stout, it hits hard, and it can take a beating.
Yes.
It's a great mech. So it's not above the Panther, though. No, it is God tier, but it's not above the Panther. Right, we're into the heavies. The dragon.
You're not going to read this little background.
I haven't read it for the last couple. I can do.
I see. You're getting lazy now, are you?
All right, it's the first. In the first years of the Kerensky Protectorate, the lackluster performance of the aging Shadowhawk against newer designs made apparent the need to replace it. In a major contest, the Luthien Armorworks submitted its Dragon design and promptly lost the contract to the upgraded Shadowhawk 2H. Amazed and angered, the owners of Luthien Armorworks went ahead anyway with the production of a slightly less powerful Dragon. This design carried a Class 2 Victory autocannon on its right arm instead of the more powerful Imperator A. It was this Dragon design that House Kurita privately commissioned in 2754 as the basis for the Combine's private army until the dissolution of the Star League. Yeah, that's true, Colsh. Yeah, the Wolverine should be got here just because it makes clanners cringe when they hear the name. Yeah, that's true. Dragon. It's basically, it's a recon heavy, isn't it? It's bottom of Lao, but not fast enough for anything else, yeah. It's, because its loadout is very lackluster for 60 tons. Its armor isn't amazing, but it has decent speed. That's its one kind of saving grace. So it can run around and it can fire its LRM-10 and its AC-5. And even its short-range weapons, because it has like a left torso rear facing medium and then a sort of left arm laser. I have a soft spot for the Dragon. I do like the mech, even in its default loadout in games like MWO. I don't mind running it. It's a fat Centurion. I think it's slightly worse than the Centurion, because Centurion at least has the AC-10, whereas this has a 5. I would definitely say that this actually, as a Curitan mech, misses the Curitan honor list. I think this is, personally, I think this is less than a Javelin. In that sense, I think it's sitting in the reservist junk. To be honest, I don't know if anyone has any disagreement with that, but I think it's definitely in the reservist D tier.
Aye.
Better than the Spider, better than an Assassin, not as good as the Javelin, or a Hermes II, or a Blackjack even. I think it sits there quite comfortably. I think it's worse than Blackjack. Yeah, I do think it's worse than Blackjack. I think the Blackjack can actually do more damage than the Dragon per turn. And at least in its role as a urban fighter, the Blackjack does that well, whereas the Dragon doesn't even have a role. It's not built for anything specific. The write-up says it was built in a kind of, well, fuck you then kind of attitude. That was the only reason it existed. And it's only kept around because Luthien Armorworks is a Curitan company, and Curita were going to build, mechs from their own factories. You think it should be behind the Spider?
No.
No. BFG and Naman think the Spider is better than the Dragon. I'm inclined to agree in the sense that the Spider is definitely better because the Spider has a role on the field.
I see.
Because it's a fast scout, and it can get in and out of a location quick enough, hopefully avoiding damage. But really, what is the Dragon built for? Other than the fact that it's a Curitan heavy. That's its only thing. It's up there. As much as I love the champion, it's basically the champion of TRO 3025. It's a heavy that runs fast, but it doesn't have great weapons.
Yes.
So it's all it's got.
That is true. Yes.
It's a bit like the Vinian as much as it was built. It's ours and no one else can have it. Yeah, it's that, yeah. It's like, no, it's ours. There's a reason a recce platoon isn't filled by big lads. Well, yeah, there's that, yeah. It's not about a fight between the two. The Spider does something. Yeah, I think that's fine. That's fine. The Ostroc, Osterman Industry, because they missed out the S on the right there, a Sol-based arms company, produced its Ost-class battle mechs from 2500 to 2700. All 3 designs were extremely successful, although limited production facilities kept the numbers low. The Ostroc was the best known of Ostman's Walker pod designs, effectively balancing the Torschlagen 4 rack missile launcher and Ostman's well-designed Feuersturm heavy and medium lasers. In spite of its rarity, the Ostroc was considered a quality mech and performed well in battle. While it goes, "I must destroy," it walks like a 1950s like evil robot, and I don't dislike it though. I think this is quite a decent mech. A couple of large, couple of mediums, and SRM4, not a bad loadout for 60 tons. Armor-wise, pretty decent, although the legs do leave something to be desired. Only 8 points of armor on the legs each. That's the... But it's got the...
That's the arms.
Oh, sorry, that's the arms. Well, that's even worse then, because...
They're just heat sinks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's because this art is incorrect. This isn't the art for the what's this? Ostroc, isn't it? Yeah, this is the Ost War, I believe, this artwork. Because if we... Look at this quick. Yeah, because it's actually supposed to... You know, fuck off. Yeah, it's actually supposed to look like that. That's a lot better. I don't know if they have the original. There we go. That's the original art. So that's what it's supposed to look like. That's a classic misprint. That ended up becoming the Ost War, I believe.
That makes more sense. Were they supposed to be SRMs?
I can't remember if... Yeah, I think these are twin SRMs. If we check out the Ost War... Yeah. So, unfortunately, all the write-ups, but yeah, that's supposed to be.
Now that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That also looks better.
Yeah, well, it's later art. Yeah, the Ostswar was the one that had 2 street. Well, I mean, they've done it with 2 street force because they kind of they reworked it. It's weird now. They say it's a 3075 mech, even though it never was. But yeah, it's supposed to be 2 SRM4s, 2 medium lasers, and LRM-20. Danger, Richard Cameron, danger. Yeah. But yeah, we know that this is the wrong art, but I do like this this mech. It's not a bad one. It's
well, with those 2 large lasers, can it fire both? Does it have the heat sinks for both?
It has 15 heat sinks, so
8 each.
No, it can't.
Now that's not a good design decision.
But it can combo. It can
large and medium.
It could do large and medium, and it also means because of the spread, if it loses its weapon systems in one torso, it can still do the same shot if it's right torso or left torso, vice versa, right?
I suppose.
Because not every mech can fire all of its weapons.
No, I'm not saying that, but if it could have fired both weapons, then that would have made it an effective...
What's this? Upper end Curitan may be pushing Comstar solid mech with decent punch. Yeah, it could end up going into the upper tier here. I mean, it is solid. It doesn't have a role. It just is, right? It's a frontline mech, so I don't know if that really pushes it.
But then you just put the dragon in a bad position for the same reason.
Yeah, but the dragon doesn't even have the punch of this thing at the same tonnage.
That's true. That's very true.
They're both 60 tonners, and that 60 tonner that moves the same speed as the dragon can fucking annihilate it in a straight up fight. Are you tempted to put it there?
Yes. It's not a mech most people even remember exists 9 times out of 10.
So, close that. The Ostsol. This was commissioned as a heavy mech for extended independent operations. The design criterion called for a maximum speed of at least 80 kph, medium armor, and energy-based weapon systems. Kong Interstellar submitted the winning proposal to build the Osman Industry design in 2693, and the first models were finished by the end of the next year. The Ostsol was intended for use where supply lines are fragile. Because it has no need for ammo, it can carry on a guerrilla war far behind enemy lines and perform grab and run raids to gather valuable supplies. Now this is the Ostscout art.
Yes.
This is not what it's supposed to look like. So the earlier art that we saw all the way back here, that's
keep going.
So that's what it's actually supposed to look. That's the Ostsol.
Yes.
The Steiner recliner that we saw from earlier. But this is the original book. Unfortunately, if you scroll through the pages, this is how they fucked it up. The Osts all got kind of screwed around. No idea how it became this much of a fuck up, but yeah, I mean, 2 large lasers. It's got 16 heat sinks, so stood still, it can fire both of its larges. Right and left torso. And it's got 2 medium lasers, one on the right, one on the left, and then it's got 2 CT mounted rear medium lasers, so it can protect itself on the run. I think overall, as a smash and grab mech, it seems to fit that quite well. It's the same speed, 5 and 8.
I would agree. It's not a bad mech, is it?
No, it's not bad.
It's not a looker.
No, it's
but if you're thinking about putting one in the field, it's going to do its job.
Yeah, I definitely think it's because it performs its job so well. It's definitely in the Comstar pile. I think probably mid.
Better than a Shadowhawk?
Yeah, come on. It's better than the Shadow. I mean, it can do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And as a raider, it's pretty good. Because, it doesn't have to worry about ammunition or anything like that. So, the quick draw.
I don't like the picture. It has hands as well.
Yes, it does actually. It can actually pick stuff up.
Stuff.
The quick draw, first produced in 2779, the quick draw was designed to very few mech regiments before the start of the Succession Wars in 2786. Since that time, however, it's slowly found its way into a number of units in all 5 of the successor states. Though designed as the most likely replacement for the Rifleman support vehicle, the quick draw has never realised this aim, and so remains less known than the older Rifleman design. Nevertheless, the quick draw's enormous firepower capacity and good armor protection quickly earned it the acceptance and respect of many mech warriors. A mech that sadly gets crapped on a lot in the MWO community, and I always feel sad about that because I really, really like the quick draw. This art does not do it any favours though. It looks like the head is bizarre. It's this massive zit on the top of its head, top of the body. It's very weird that the ankles look fucking strange. I'm not quite sure why it has these bizarre ankle setups. Obviously the arms have that ability to kind of snap rearwards to fire at things, which is a nice touch, but it's something that's not even really mentioned. It has some rear firing weaponry as well. I think it's got good overall weapons capability. 13 heat sinks I think does hold it back a bit though.
585, so it can maneuver.
Yeah.
It's got very good armor. I mean, not the best,
but
good enough.
It's
lower. Its maneuverability.
It's lower than the other heavies we've seen. It seems to be a case that some of the armor that is lacking on the arms for like the Ost series is moved over, from the body to the arms here because it has 11, whereas the others have had 8 on the arms. But that's mainly because it does actually have some weaponry there that is necessary to protect. You like the quick draw, but middle of Kurita for you. Not enough of anything to stand out. Fronting a Lancer mediums, it works.
Yes.
That's it. Who was it who said earlier that it should be next to the Dragon? Skymaster, you said. Similar maneuverability, similar firepower, poorer heat management. Similar firepower to the Dragon. I mean, this thing has an SRM4, an LRM10, and a quartet of mediums. I mean, even the 2 mediums is 10, which already beats the AC5 that it's got. It has the same LRM10, and it can smack you with an SRM4 at close range. It's got more potential damage output than the Dragon.
And the Dragon doesn't have jump jets.
Yeah, this thing can jump, it can get away, and it can shoot behind it. You agree with Skymaster Yobba that it should be next to the Dragon. We're talking about that this thing should be here. in Lao reservist. Is this just because the quick draw is used by the Capellans? Is that why we're talking about being the Lao? So there's a fucking conspiracy going on here. Most mechs have a harder time using all their weapons all at once. There's very few on the list that can fire everything every turn. Unless it's, like a fucking spider or something. But then by that logic, if it's a mech that can fire every weapon every turn, it's god tier.
I think it's a low tier Curitan.
Low tier on a list.
On a list.
There is a role for the quick draw. I can see behind the Scorpion, but not worse than the Blackjack. It's a trooper mech, isn't it? It's a trooper heavy. It actually has a role, unlike the Dragon, I think. Mm-hmm. But I would put it, on a list. It's got more of a role than the Scorpion, but I don't know if it's better than a Vulcan in terms of what it's supposed to do on the field.
Yes,
because it's not amazing. It's just there. It's a good,
but it's good.
It's a good trooper mech. Yeah, it's like the Centurion and that. Mm-hmm. The Rifleman. First Riflemen were built for the Star League by Calon Industries in 2505. Designed as a medium fire support vehicle, this early model was lighter and less heavily armoured than the current version and mounted Calon Class C laser cannons. Chronic overheating issues forced the addition of more heatsinks and the replacement of the old lasers with more efficient Magna 2 and 3s. The current incarnation, the 3N, was built in 2770 during the collapse of the Star League. Arm-mounted Calon Imperator A autocannons replaced the Mark II lasers, producing the familiar configuration of 2 medium and 2 heavy lasers and 2 medium autocannon. Although designed to be primarily fire support, the Rifleman can hold its own in close combat against lighter vehicles. God tier. Everyone tries to replace it and nobody can.
Yeah.
It does have the survivability. Yeah. Many an opponent has stepped up and has been smacked straight down. The Rifleman is one of the most impressive looking heavies that have been created for BattleTech. BFG, you like the Jaeger more. I don't dislike the Jaeger, but next to it, I think the Rifleman is just a superior looking mech.
I have used these on tabletop, and yes, they run very hot. But as long as you're in control of that, and you operate in a low tier overheat, this is a very, very fine mech.
Of course, the Rifleman is a very stable sex position. Gets a good thrust out of it. Bad heat management, poor armor, and a bit useless in the end. But it's fire support, Yobbo. I mean, it's not meant to be getting up close and personal. And to be honest, it's actually got more armor than the fucking quick draw. by that stake. I don't know how, but... Bottom of Comstar for you. Nice in the support lance.
It's an excellent mech, yes.
I'm overriding. It's Taurian. It's god tier. As far as it's god tier. It's a Rifleman. It's gonna be difficult. I'm not saying it's better than the Griffin or any of it. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's bottom of god tier.
He's gone a little bit mad.
I've not gone mad. No, he's
going on its looks.
What do you mean when it's out of ammo? It's got 2 large lasers and 2 mediums. That's pretty decent. And what, the AC ammo will last you 10 rounds? Because what, you got 20 turns of fire split between the 2 ACs. That's not bad.
Yeah.
He has gone mad. I've not gone mad. It's Taurian. It's god tier. It's fucking god tier. Alright, Catapult. The Catapult C1, it was produced by Hollis Incorporated in a limited production run between 2561 and 2563 under a special military contract with the Star League. It was officially classified as a close support vehicle designed as a second-line defence with strong offensive capabilities.
There's someone knocking. Should I go check on it?
I think you should.
Right.
Have you actually heard? Was there a knock? The fuck? Ow.
Hello?
Oh, no.
No, you can't come in at the moment.
Oh.
What are you doing, sir?
I think someone's manhandling the Irishman.
Who is that person? What are you doing, Rocket?
I'm doing a tier list, Alden.
A tier list?
Yeah, we're rating all the mechs in the...
Look at this!
Oh, no.
Look!
Of course, it's your mech, isn't it?
I wasn't watching on another monitor somewhere, but look! Look at this! This is an amazing mech. God tier. Better than S. Create a new level, put this on it.
No.
Better than Taurian?
What? Taurian God tier?
Comstars below Taurian?
Yes.
Do the Taurians pay your wages, you little shit?
Ow! You can't hit me with those bony hands. It hurts more.
Right, new level, Star League.
I'm not creating a new level. I'm not.
It's S, Star League.
I agree. It is got to. It is up there. It's probably better than a Rifleman. It's probably better than a Griffin.
All of them.
It's not. No, it's not better than a Panther.
What?
No.
It's better than all of them. Put it at the top.
No, I refuse.
Put it at the top.
No, you.
There we go.
Oh!
That's
No!
where it should be.
That's wrong.
Don't you dare move your hand. Naughty, bad person.
Ow! But how am I supposed to click on the other things?
Better than the Panther, thank you very much, yes. Much better, much better. Do I have to stay here and look after things? Did you just put it back down?
No, it was a glitch with the system. It'll probably move itself back in. Right, the Crusader. Has a long, successful production history, numerous variants
of the... I may have to stay here a
the...
little while. I just threw that tinker out. I got arrested by a man with a dog. An undercover policeman.
Oh, that was the police in the end. Okay. Not a ROM agent, then. It was an actual policeman. Okay.
Why would ROM be bothered about a tinker?
I just know, because we're a Comstar facility. I thought they'd be the ones doing these kind of things. Medium close-range combat vehicle, the Crusader soon became the workhorse of the Star League, filling many roles and performing
selling
wide
beer
variety.
to underage leprechauns, apparently.
Yeah, he had been. Yeah, he did have that bathtub moonshine stuff that he was working on. Yeah, that was a while ago. Hello, Icy Masky. Right, let's see. 65. I really like the Crusader.
It looks like one of those American rugby players.
Yeah, it's got that like big chunky body armor kind of look to it.
But I don't dislike it.
No, I don't dislike it either. I think it's a trooper. Mm-hmm. It's good all round in that respect. Does that mean it's?
I think it's pretty good at its role.
It's good, isn't it? Well, what role?
Well, it's a support. It's long range fire.
No, it's not. It has long range.
2 LRM-15s. What more do you need?
But it has 2 SRM-6, 2 machine gun, 2 medium lasers.
Yes, because then it can get in close and be a trooper. It's a bit of both. And good at both.
That's not fire support then.
I don't think you know what you're talking about, Rocket.
I think it's jack of all trades. I like the Crusader, but I definitely think it's jack of all trades. Well, the Crusader and Jaeger need to be in Comstar tier. Is that a pig or a cow shaking its ass? It's a bit of both.
It's a mew pig.
Oh, it's a rhino. There you go. It's a rhino shaking its butt. Comstar level due to good planning by the Star League. I'm not averse. I'm not averse to it being Comstar level.
Better than a Jenner,
definitely,
better than a Locust, better than a Wasp.
Better than a Shadowhawk.
Yes.
Probably better than the Ostsol.
Yes.
It's got the same missile firepower as the Trebuchet, so it
yeah, about there. Yes. It's not better than a Hunchy could probably take it out.
A Hunchback, what? It can actually...
It can't outrun the Hunchy.
But it can take a hit from a Hunchback and keep going.
Yes, maybe one hit.
Yeah, just the one, but as we know with the rolls, it's not always going to hit the CT every roll. So it can take one hit to the CT, it can take one hit to the right torso, one hit to the left torso, and still go. In fact, it can even take a hit to an arm. All right, all the armor's stripped, but it can still fire.
I see your point. Maybe it is then better. Okay, go on, put it above it.
I think it's there, personally.
Yes, very well. Everyone's now going to argue it's better than a Vindy.
I don't know how the Vindicator is going to be top by the end of this one. It'll actually take a hunchy hit anywhere and keep going. Yeah, that's what I'm arguing, yeah.
I agreed with the argument. He moved it up. God.
The Jaeger, mate. Now, there seems to be a lot of support here for the old Jaeger. So, recognizing that the Rifleman was a good design that could be improved, the designers at Calon Industries began reviewing the 3N's original design in light of its battlefield performance. 3 facts immediately came to light. The Rifleman was prone to overheating, it didn't carry enough ammo, and it was lightly armoured in comparison with other mechs of the same tonnage. Calon designers reworked the blueprints, making a few trade-offs, and created a first-grade mech, the Jaeger mech. Though still lightly armoured for its weight, the Jaeger mech is less likely than the Rifleman to overheat, as the large lasers have been replaced with more ammunition and a pair of Midron light autocannons. Yes, but the Hunchback does scare the ever-loving fuck out of everything, but I don't know, I think the Crusader can do... It would be a tough fight. It would be a very tough fight between the two.
Well, the Crusader could back off and do RM.
Yeah, it does have the ability to back off. Now, I know BFG would say this is in God tier, because I think BFG mentioned this earlier. It does AA and only AA. I mean, it is very thinly armored. It has the exact... That's the weird thing. It has the exact same...
Its armor's very poor.
Yeah, its armor is very poor.
Why has it got so little on its arms?
Yeah, when most of the weapons are in the arms. Yeah,
this is very badly designed.
Its most important weapons there. I would personally move some of the armor from the legs to the arms, because it's less likely. It doesn't need its mobility as much. The Mech should be just in front of the Rifleman. It's an attempt to improve an existing design, but it fails. That's it. It fails in its attempt to supersede the Rifleman. That's the problem. I don't know personally if it's as good as the Rifleman what we're looking at. If it can fire more of its weapons per turn and at range, but so it's like 10, 14 damage. It's pretty good. It's not bad. Not bad.
Well, by your argument, then, it should be just behind a Rifleman, which makes it God tier.
No, it's not God tier.
Well, exactly. You put the Rifleman in God tier.
It's probably top of that, I'd say.
That's going to annoy a lot of people. I think we both know it's better than that.
It is better. It is better than the Davian Junkyard. All right, we'll say better than Ostscout, yes. Better than the Cicada, yes. Better than Urbanmech, yes. Then the Assassin, then the Dragon, the Spider, yeah. Better than the Scorpion?
Yes.
Okay. Better than the Quickdraw? I mean, I'd argue no. Personally. I would put it's in the Cretan Honor list if I had to pick somewhere, and I don't know if it's better than a Quickdraw. Someone kicks the arrow in the balls. We try to put it in the junk tier. It's not the junk tier. It's not the junk.
I'm more than happy to kick him in the balls.
No, he has that cybernetic
Could you
toe.
just stand up a second?
No, I'm not standing up.
My cybernetic toe is ready for action.
He's like, if the AC fits, you must acquit. Behind the enforcer for you. So you'd say, Naman, you'd put it there in the Cretan Honors list. It's between a Clint and an enforcer.
I mean, it is a reasonable mech. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but ping, 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 ping.
All right, I'm willing. I'll compromise on the Rifleman. I'll compromise. It's not God tier. It was just there to try and get a reaction. So, that's the door.
No, very well, I'll do it. Do everything round here anyway.
I'd say the Rifleman is. Let's see. I'll put them next to each other. How about that? I wouldn't say it's right behind the Jaeger, because I still think the Rifleman is better than the Jaeger mech, but they're definitely. I think they share a spot together. Personally. The Thunderbolt. Now this is a popular one. The TDR-5S Thunderbolt is a familiar mech throughout the successor states, first produced in 2491. It was used extensively in assault lancers of the era. Known for its heavy armament and hard-hitting assault capability, the Thunderbolt remains a favourite of many mech warriors. The TDR-5S Thunderbolt was one of the first mechs designed for planetary assaults. In its early years, it was also one of the heaviest assault mechs possible to produce. As technology would advance, the Thunderbolt was inevitably superseded by larger, more advanced heavy mechs. Because of its excellent design, however, the Thunderbolt remained in production, and some of the newer technology was added to its sub-assemblies. The Thunderbolt is respected as a tough opponent all across the successor states.
Now, if the bro was here, he'd be arguing this is S tier.
It's hard to argue against it. It's a great, diverse weapon setup, tanky as fuck. And not a bad amount of movement. 15 heat sinks is, yeah. Oh, what's it? Oh, yeah, CR and Bro, new AEW era, same AEW sound issues. You'll have a chuckle at that. Oh, okay. What's the ETG? Rifleman's right behind the Jaeger. Thunderbolt is God tier alongside the Archer. It's hard to disagree.
It's God tier. It's an amazing mech. It has the punch. It can take a beating. It's basically dwarven heavy.
Yeah.
They're in their plate armor. They've got their magical two-headed axe.
He's stood on a Swiftwind scout car there. Yeah. It's a fantastic one. It's not above the Panther. Nah, it struggles now. The Panther is...
It's above the Panther.
No, it's not above the Panther.
It is above the Panther.
Not above the Panther.
You know it's above the Panther.
Anyway, the Archer. The ARC-2R Archer is one of the best-known designs still in use today. First produced in 2474, the Archer quickly earned respect and popularity among battle mech regiments that was unequalled by any other type. Star League records show that nearly 100,000 Archers were constructed before the beginning of the Succession Wars. Most of these have now been destroyed or lost to spare parts depots. However, some production of the many Archer variants continues to this day in most of the successor states. The Archer was designed initially as a heavy-hitting assault mech, able to pound defending units at long range as it approached. Over the centuries, it's also been used in a variety of other roles, ranging from city-busting to indirect fire support. Yeah, definitely one of the best pieces of art that was produced in this book. The Archer looks fucking great. Although one thing to always remember is that thanks to MWO, a lot of people think it has 4 forward-facing mediums. No, it doesn't. It has 2 rear-firing mediums and 2 forward-firing mediums. But place it below the catapult for me on this one. Oh, so there you go, BFG. You think this is?
Well, obviously, nothing's better than a catapult rocket.
Well, you just said that the Thunderbolt was above the catapult.
No, I said it was above a Panther.
Which is above a catapult.
No.
Yes, it is.
No, because you moved it. The catapult is supposed to be over there.
Didn't move. It was a glitch.
You did.
Ow! Stop hitting me! No! No!
Get off!
No! I wiggle your hand, sir.
Stop it!
No!
Get over there.
No!
And
No!
I think that's fine now, everybody. I think that's the way it should be. There we go. Continue.
Ow!
Don't try to bite me, you little...
Ow!
I need a tetanus shot, amongst other things. Rabies, sclerosis.
One of your favourites, sad to say, bottom of Comstar or upper Curitan. Oof. Wow, okay.
Think of a more famous LRN carrier, other than the catapult.
Longbow?
That's hardly ever in anything.
But it is
It wasn't even easy to get hold of the bloody model of it. The little figure.
We've got one.
In the end.
It looks great, but the mobility of the catapult just wins it out. Yeah, it does have more mobility. Yeah,
yes,
granted.
of course it does. The catapult is the best mech.
It's not the best mech, but
obviously it is.
Well, I mean, what if we put it at the back of Comstar?
No, top of Comstar.
You think it's the absolute best Comstar currently?
Yes.
Fame out the equation, Catapult's cheaper and does the same job. Yes, it does. Catapult is definitely more maneuverable. I guess, yeah, okay, so currently top mech, which is definitely fucking...
What are you doing?
The Panther is so much better.
Bad boy, naughty boy, in your bed.
Ow. Fine. That was fun like that. But only for a little bit.
Nita didn't raise no fools.
Am I sure? I'd be short of Archer models. Hey, you want to send us all your Archer models, Joe? But I'm not going to say no. Right. Next up is the Grasshopper. When it first appeared on the battlefield in 2786, the Grasshopper was a revolutionary design. Although it had a mass of 70 tons, it was junk capable. A heavy mech with all the firepower and armor of its weight classification, the GHR-5H was designed as a highly mobile, close-range fighter. It was expected to engage and destroy light to mediums at close range, clearing the way for less mobile, better armed units. In a duel with another heavy mech, the Grasshopper is usually outgunned, but its heavier armor and high mobility allows it to inflict a substantial amount of damage before having to retreat. I always like the write-up of the Grasshopper of being a mech that could literally jump into a lance and shoot the back of a mech up and then jump away. Of course, that's not how it actually works on the table, but the idea of it...
Considering it's only 464, how far do they think it's jumping?
Apparently, it's like leaping out of a small hedge or something to get behind them, but like, oh, I can't see this Grasshopper that's just sat there. It's pretty well armoured for its weight class.
What I like about this is one of the few mechs that's mostly heat-based, but it has the heat sinks to handle
22,
it.
yeah.
It's got good armour.
Yeah.
Decent manoeuvrability. I mean, it's slower than a lot of mediums, but then it can weather their weapons. It has a punch with the large. It has all of those medium lasers are forward facing.
Mm-hmm.
And if it has to back off, it has the LRN.
It does, yeah.
I think this is low S tier or very high honour list. Those are my opinions. Of course, they're Comstar's opinions, and therefore they're correct, rockets! But, of course, if you have an opinion of your own, we'll all sit and laugh.
The Grasshopper's top tier with the Black Knight. Yeah, I do find it hard to dislike the Grasshopper. I do like its combat ability. It's not the prettiest mech in the world. This art doesn't do it any favours, unfortunately, because the Grasshopper can look a lot better than this, especially with like the head assembly looks all kinds of fucking craziness. You don't know where anything really sits here, and it does kind of look like it's about to fall over, rather than, I'm assuming it's supposed to be jumping, but I guess the artist never bothered to put in like any kind of like plumes
it looks like
of smoke.
it's sprinting into combat.
Is it sprinting? Because like the lower end is at that angle, and the front end just doesn't seem to be. It's just perfectly upright. It looks a bit weird. It doesn't have any knockout weapon, but I mean, if you get hit by a large, was that so 8, 9, 10? Oh, fucking, what's that? 8,
28 damage rocket.
28 damage. That's pretty good. Can it handle the heat? 28 damage. Let's see. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. With a run, yeah, it can. Yeah, it can run.
I just said all of this.
Yeah, but no one was listening.
I said it could use all of its heat-based weapons and handle it.
Yeah, but no one listens to you anyway.
I think they do. I'm a demi-presenter.
I mean, S tier, I'm not sure. Possibly, like, top of Comstar?
I think that's fair.
Because I think the art kind of holds it back a bit. Well, the Warhammer. I mean, it's there. There we go. Warhammer. What? It's the Warhammer.
It's not better than a catapult.
It fucking
Catapult
is
the best mech.
No.
Are you insane?
Construction of the Warhammer battle mech, which was designed primarily as an assault mech, began in 2515 and continued up until after the fall of the Star League. The original requisition by General Sternson to Starcore Industries called for a mobile mech with enough firepower to destroy or severely damage any mech of the same weight class or lower. Starcore's answer was the Warhammer. There were several different production runs on the mech, including the Class 6D and the Class 6K. In the current era, several modified versions have also been developed within the successor states. Absolutely amazing looking, perfect weapon setup, no drawbacks, the best mech.
Well, it is the poster boy for the whole thing, isn't it?
It's just the best mech. I mean, and then we come to the Pariah, the one of the most disliked heavies in BattleTech.
Are you insane?
The Mad 3R Marauder is considered one of the most ineffective battle mechs in existence.
That's not what it says.
When originally built by shut up, you.
When it
in
was
the early
built
2600s.
by the He's putting his hands on me. He's got his hands on my face. Trying to poke out my eyes. Stop it! Get off, Rocket! Rocket!
Its oblique design was intended as a precursor of a new generation of mechs, with which it failed. However,
it did not fail!
The other mechs in the series remained on the drawing board and were never built. Although the Marauder is uncommon, many of its design elements remain ineffective.
That's not what it says!
The Marauder should be right behind the Warhammer on God tier. Ooh.
Yes, behind the Catapult, yes.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why have you just put it all the way back down there?
What are you laughing about?
Put it back.
Ow! Ow! Stop hitting me.
You tell him, chat. Come on.
Ow! Ow!
This will be one of those occasions they're on my side.
No. Look, see, Yobbo agrees. Tier 5 for sure.
What? Yobbo, you're an idiot. And I've read your file.
Right, the Onion is an ancient battle mech design created by the Terran hegemony as the first truly heavy mech. The Orion has acted as the brute force of major offensives for nearly 500 years. Even today, the Orion is still a formidable mech. The original design was created in response to the theft of battle mech blueprints by commandos of the Lyran Commonwealth. To ensure the continued dominance of the hegemony's mechs, engineers built the ultimate battle mech. Commissioned in 2570, the Orion first saw action in the bloody reunification wars along the periphery. The original Orion, the 1C, did not have long-range missiles and sported a Class 5 autocannon instead of the Class 10 seen today.
Wait, I'm confused. Notable mech warriors. Go back up there again.
Uh-huh.
Is there a certain person missing off that list? A certain rather famous person?
Alexander Kerensky being missed off the list is kind of odd, yeah.
Considering it's his mech and he's a notable mech warrior, I would have thought.
It's the same tier as the Thunderbolt, says ETG. BFG, you're saying it's middle for you. It's good but inflexible. It's basically it's a mini Atlas, isn't it? It's kind of like the Cyclops in that respect because it carries a similar kind of weapons loadout. It's just kind of downgraded on all fronts.
Yes. Wasn't the Atlas built to replace this, basically?
No, it was built specifically for the end of the war, wasn't it?
Kerensky had a hand in its design.
He did, yeah.
Right. Well, I would say this is Taurian.
You think this is Class S?
Yes.
This is
A
A
tier. It may not
tier.
be the top of the Class S.
I mean, it's probably, I'd say it sits there.
Yes.
Middle. It's a bigger, heavier Thunderbolt. Yeah, but the Thunderbolt is a better mech. I don't know. Maybe next to the Thunderbolt. I don't know if it's. I think these two are kind of interchangeable. That one is really.
Yes.
If there was a way for them both to occupy the same slot, I would do that. But I don't know. The Thunderbolt I think has a bit more. There's a bit more recognition with the Thunderbolt than the Orion, but both are still very, very good. Both are good all rounders. The Orion is definitely, it's one of my favorites. I do really like it. It's sad in MWO that the mech just again gets kind of shat on.
Yes, well, considering who piloted it for most of his career.
The Awesome. I mean,
nothing's better than an Awesome other than a Catapult.
No, it's better.
What?
It's better than the Warhammer. It's S tier.
Did you just put it better than the Warhammer and the Catapult?
Yes, I can't lie. It's look.
The only defense against an Awesome is another Awesome.
Exactly. The Awesome is one of the most feared vehicles on
Or
the
a
battlefields
Catapult.
of the Succession Wars. First built in 2665 by the Technocron manufacturing conglomerate under license from Starleague, it soon became a popular heavy mech in many regimental assault lancers. Based on the design of the SDR-2C Striker, the original assault mech, the Awesome soon superseded the aging vehicle as the main heavy assault mech in almost all successor states. The Striker is almost never seen in frontline mech regiments today. The Awesome is widely used as an initial penetration assault vehicle. Massed Awesome Lancers are sent to destroy a point in the enemy defences, allowing units to follow in to exploit the breach. The Awesome is also used in many defensive situations where it's usually responsible for the most threatened or important areas of a perimeter. It's an amazing design. It looks fucking great. The original art, I think, is difficult to beat. It just looks really, really good. I think he knocked it out the park with that one.
It is, yes, because it's their own design,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
The name definitely fits. Awesome is just a great name for it. Capable of being able to basically fire all of its PPCs every other turn. It can do a phenomenal amount of damage. It's well armoured. And, yeah,
And it looks good doing it.
It looks good doing it, yeah. It's difficult to beat. It really is. But going next, we got the Charger. It's a distinctive mech. Its heavy chassis is well armoured, but virtually unarmed. Its massive power plant moves at high speed, but occupies an inordinate amount of space. The reason for these paradoxes is in the Charger's original production goals. The Charger 1A1 was intended to be a heavy scout that could enter well-defended areas where it might have to take damage, yet still be able to withdraw at high speed. Wells Technologies built the Charger in 2665, combining heavy Duralex armour with Magna-Light lasers. Though the Mark I are incapable of damaging anything but infantry and light armoured vehicles, the deficiency was intentional. It's intended to discourage Charger pilots from engaging in protracted firefights, for the Charger's job is to obtain data and do so quickly. Although the design was heavily criticised, the fact remains that Wells Tech built over 1,000 of these, about 500 of which survive to this day.
Yes, but who's going to pay for that when you can get a better light mech?
Yeah,
Cost.
It looks good.
If you think about how much this piece of crap costs, right, compared to all the light mechs that can do the job better, it's not worth it.
But it's got a little gun. Look at
It's not worth it.
It's not, no.
It's crap tier.
It is crap, yeah. It's nice. I do like the Charger, but it is definitely in the Davian junkyard, isn't it? It's and the Marauder.
Can you move that bloody Marauder up?
All right, there you go. It's at the top of the Davian junkyard.
This is pathetic.
Where do you want the Marauder to be, huh?
It's in Taurian God tier.
You think it's in Taurian God tier? The back
Everyone
end.
knows it is.
Fine. Behind the Marauder, no. What's this, Yobby? You don't want the. It is junk tier.
It is. It's overpriced and doesn't do its job better than cheaper mechs.
What you want it in the reservist loud junk?
You could have a lance of spiders, and they would do the job better.
It is better than an Ostscout.
Hell, and they do more damage.
It is better than a Cicada, and
Is it?
Yeah, it could take more damage.
But cost-wise.
We're not just looking at costs for everything.
No, we're
now.
looking at everything. And when you look at everything, it's a piece of shit.
I don't know. It can punch something pretty well. It can do a lot of damage with a punch or a kick. And I mean, it'll keep up with you as well. 5 and 8. That's pretty good for an 80-tonner.
Yes, but most of the other light scout mechs are probably faster than it and more manoeuvrable. And cheaper.
They'll never kill it, though.
And it'll never kill them.
It might do.
It has to get in point-blank range to do a tiny amount of damage.
Look,
it's
awful.
In
the junkyard, okay?
Yes.
It's not going to get above the junkyard.
Good.
Moany old bastard. Right, the Goliath.
What?
Ow!
There you rocket.
Ow!
Talk to your betters.
Brigadier Corporation's success with the Scorpion battle mech, the first of the four-legged mechs, spawned the creation of the four-legged Goliath. This mech is massive, weighing in at over 80 tons. Some of the earlier technical difficulties of the four-leg designs had already been overcome by this time. Leg movement was coordinated through the Neuro helmet, and the mech was streamlined to allow more armour. Dr. Harrison, the creator of the four-legged mech, felt that such mechs would usher in a new era of battle mech warfare. Unfortunately, the Star League didn't agree with him. Nevertheless, Brigadier Corporation managed to sell several Goliaths, most of which were stationed on the periphery, where mechs were usually tested. The Goliath performed well, and the Star League began to take interest shortly before its fall and the start of the First Succession War. The few Goliaths that were operational quickly became the property of their pilots, and only a handful are still in service to this day. What is it? Rocket's list labels are misleading and lies. No, they're not, Yobba. I do really like the Goliath. They're not seen very often. I don't even think... Naman, do we have a model of these for Table Tech? I don't think we do we? Because I'm not sure if anyone's ever done a Goliath model. But it's not bad. A couple of LRM-10s at PPC. It's definitely fire support.
It's like a super version of its smaller brother.
Yeah, kind of. Although it swaps out SRMs for LRMs, so it's probably got a bit more versatility in that respect.
Yes.
Has a pair of machine guns to defend it from infantry, but not much else at short range. That's its big drawback. If anything does get close to it, it's kind of knackered.
Good armor.
Yeah, but that's understandable. It's at this point you're at assaults. Everything should have good armor.
Yeah, that's true.
It's cool looking.
Yes.
But it's in the curator.
Well, it's better than a Scorpion.
It's better than a Scorpion.
But maybe that's where it sits.
It might do, yeah. The quad mechs may be sat back there. I believe it is, yeah, ECG. I think it is in the next Kickstarter with the Scorpion, yeah. We're getting up there now. The Victor, originally built under a defense contract with the Star League in 2510, defined as a heavy battle mech, it was used as a strong support mech with jump capability. Earlier models carried a sophisticated array of anti-infantry weapon systems, later discarded due to its overheating issues common for a heavily armed mech. Also, technicians felt that this heavy support mech wouldn't be engaging infantry, and so the flamer and machine gun systems were removed. The Victor was originally outfitted with a Standard 20 tracking system, but that was removed from all but the first run prototypes due to its tendency to project targets that didn't actually exist. Hildco Interplanetary produced the mech out of 3 plants whose facilities were all destroyed during the First Succession War. Most of the firm's records fell into the hands of Haute-Curita. Thus, the total number of Victors produced has been determined to be nearly 1,000. Many were lost during Kerensky's exodus from the League, and still more were lost during the First Succession War. The original book definitely had a more bleak outlook for some of these machines. I always liked the Victor. In the original art, probably isn't the best. He does this thing again where he has its head turned, so you don't get a good look at the front of the kind of goldfish bowl design of the face. You'd have the Goliath behind the Scorpion. I think the Goliath's got a bit more versatility than the Scorpion, though, because the 2 LRM-10s, at least in the earlier part of a fight, do give it the opportunity to do more damage.
Now, here's the problem with this mech.
Right.
This is a very good city, urban combat mech. But put it out in the field, in wide open areas, And it just can't get in close with that AC-20. And you know, because we've used this in some of our table-based simulations.
Yeah.
And very rarely did we ever get to use that AC-20.
That's true. We did spend more time jumping around trying to get it into a good position than actually just getting it into the fight.
Yes.
The Victor's top tier. I don't think it's top tier. I don't even think it's not Comstar. I don't think it's not Comstar stockpile. I think it's in the Curating Honor list.
I would agree with that.
It's beating most of these other vehicles though. I would say it's probably top of the Curating Honor list. I think it's there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in Comstar though. And I do agree. I think it was BFG earlier mentioned. Yeah, lesser version of the Hunchback. I think the Hunchback does the better job.
Yes.
It's a cool looking mech though, and it does have some good like backup weapon systems.
You could probably have nearly 3 Hunchbacks for the cost of one of them.
What's this table-based simulation known as Chutes training exercise of our troops? The Zeus, the heavy mech. Zeus, or ZEU-6S, is the Lyman Commonwealth's pride and joy. The initial design ideas were first put to paper just after the start of the war with the Draconis Combine in 2407. 3 years later, when enemy forces were threatening Hesperus II, 2 Zeus prototypes were already lumbering across test terrains. The speed with which they were brought from idea to reality astounded even the most optimistic general. The Zeus also had the best field test a new mech could ever hope for. When Curitan forces assaulted Hesperus II, the 2 Zeus prototypes were there, aiding in the defense of the vital battle mech factories. These prototypes carried PPCs on their arms. After the battle, the pilots reported that the PPCs were extremely erratic and unreliable. Further research revealed that the insufficient shielding created wild magnetic interactions between it and the engine. The designers thus decided to drop the PPC in favour of the simpler autocannon to ensure quick delivery of the mech to the front. The autocannon gave it less punch, but the same range. The Defiance factories on Hesperus II are the only ones that currently produce the Zeus, which first came off production lines in 2411. Oh, it's one of the best looking assaults ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It's an eclectic kind of setup of weaponry, and it really struggled, I think, to find a player base in a game like MWO because it was so erratic in its approach, but on the table, it's so good.
The only problem is, it basically only has the firepower of a half-decent heavy.
It does, yeah. I'm not quite sure where a lot of that sacrifice went, to be honest. It doesn't go to armor particularly compared to other 80-tonners. And it's not for speed either. I guess it's kind of a mix all round. Like, it has an okayish engine, it's got a few more heat sinks, it's got an okay spread of armor.
Basically, the best thing about it is how it looks compared to its actual abilities.
Yeah, I mean, I agree in a man that...
It's a shame because it is a nice-looking mech.
The PPC variant is definitely better than the AC variant.
Yes. Yeah. That's the problem. That AC is not enough of a punch, and neither is the large laser, not against other assaults.
It does make it tough to kind of put it in a really high tier. But at the same time, I mean, it is a nice mech.
Yes, but you're going off its looks, not off its performance.
Yeah, it's a sexy beast, that's the problem.
It's low tier on a list. It's not actually terribly good.
Yeah.
Why do you put it there?
Where do you want it?
It's a low tier on a list.
What? I mean, it's
probably above the Jaeger, but it's probably not as good as a Rifleman. Because a Rifleman at least is good as its job.
So you put it there?
Yes.
Wow, well, Alden said.
And Alden knows what he's talking about, because that's why I'm a demi-presenter, and you're a scrub rocket!
The Battlemaster, the Blurg. Even during the Star League era, the number of manufacturers capable of building a mech like the Battlemaster was limited, and after they won the bid to construct the mech, Hollis Industries began production of the Battlemaster in 2830. Designed to be the largest and most powerful mech ever fielded by the Star League armies, the BLR-1G filled the bill. Not fit the bill, apparently. The mech's sheer size required special manufacturing facilities, which meant Hollis could build the Battlemaster on only a few planets. The cost and materials for the mech also limit production somewhat. Oof.
S tier, isn't it? Look at it.
It is. It's up there.
And unlike the previous mech, this does have the punch.
Yes, it does have the punch. It's definitely one of the best looking assault mechs they've ever made. It is in the Turian God tier. It is definitely up there. Is it better than a Marauder? Yeah.
Marauder shouldn't be at the back. Anyway,
What? Where the
Griffin?
Better than a Griffin? Oh, so you're saying the Marauder should be there?
No, I mean much further up. Yes, a little
What?
further.
What?
Well, no bet, not better than Catapult.
Oh, yeah, about that,
You
yeah.
put it better than Catapult
Ow!
after all that.
It is, yes! It is. The Marauder is better than the Catapult.
Right, well, the Battlemaster's better than at least...
Yeah, it's better than...
And better than a Panther.
Yeah.
And the Orion.
Why is the Panther so far down? The Panther should be like up here.
What?
It should be about there, I think. Yeah, that's a good spot for the
You're
Panther.
an idiot.
Ow! Fine, the Panther goes back down.
Right, the Battlemaster... Oh, probably better.
It's better than the Thunderbolt. It is better than a Catapult, right?
What? I keep telling you nothing's better than a Catapult.
Well, then why are these three mechs ahead of it then?
Because you keep putting them
Ow!
there.
The Catapult is not the best mech in TRO 3025.
Of course it is.
No.
Everyone knows that.
No.
Pound for pound, it's the best mech ever built.
No! You little miserable bony shitehawk.
It's so good the clans based all of their tech around it.
They didn't base all their tech around
That's
the
the
Catapult.
mech everyone knows.
No.
Those two, Marauder and Catapult, what do they make?
A
Mad Cat, you ass!
That's not the only mech they ever produced,
It's
though.
every power gamer's wet dream, and you
Ow.
know it.
The top tier ones just have to be in the top tier, not ranked against each other. No. It has to come along like that, right?
What kind of what blithering idiot said that?
The man said that.
Naman,
Right
you're a
there.
blithering idiot.
The Stalker. The Stalker is the most famous and most common heavy assault mech, a product of the Reunification War, the first prototype being produced as early as 2594. Early models weren't very heavily armed, but field tests suggested that the STK would be the most effective if it mounted weaponry with differing optimal ranges. Although the resulting mech had far more weapons than could safely be fired in a single salvo, it had an extremely flexible response capacity. The League computer systems determined the target's range and then suggested the optimum mix of weapons for the situation. The resulting fire control was the best available. The Stalker represents battle mech technology at its height. Few Stalkers still retain the original computer equipment so vital for its proper operation, though. The Stalker is still a fearsome mech, but with the loss of the computer system, its pilots must be cautious not to overuse their tremendous firepower. The large quantity of waste heat generated by the lasers can quickly overheat the mech, despite the 20 heat sinks. Penis mech is top of Comstar. Zeppelin ahoy. Stalker is bottom of Comstar, top of tier of Curator. Although I think this thing is an Atlas killer. This versus an Atlas, I think, is a very nasty fight, to be honest. The original art doesn't do it any favours with the way its feet seem to somehow get massive, despite the fact that it's not really that far forward compared to the upper body. But
This thing is actually quite terrifying.
yes, it is very powerful. I do agree, though. It's not like A tier. It's definitely it's in the Comstar pile, I think.
I mean, probably top, because is there anything in that pile that would make you shit yourself more than that thing coming at you?
No, not really.
Exactly.
I think it's top of the Comstar pile. The Cyclops. Stavanger or Stormvanger Assemblies first placed the CP-10Z Cyclops into production in 2710. Designed as a heavy assault vehicle for use in assault lancers, the Cyclops also proved a favourite amongst HQ troops in higher echelon formations. With its sophisticated holographic Tapticon B2000 battle computer and its planet-wide communications capability, the heavy mech proved highly useful in this role. Except when the Cyclops is part of an assault lance, tactical doctrine usually places it in the reserve, where it can coordinate and support the overall actions of other battle mechs in its command. At regimental level and higher, the Commander's Cyclops is usually guarded by a HQ Lance and supporting units. Though individual commanders have occasionally made personal modifications to the present-day Cyclops, it's virtually identical to the prototype that came off the assembly lines in 2710.
Now, this is basically a cheaper...
This is another mini Atlas.
To the Atlas, yes.
Yeah, it has the same autocannon, but it has a lower LRM and a lower SRM, and it only has 2 mediums instead of 4. That's the big difference, really.
Yes.
It's still one of the best looking and most unique mechs I think they ever came up with.
Mm-hmm.
The scale here seems to suggest it's a lot smaller.
Yes, I don't know where the cockpit is, because look at the size of this fella.
Because if he was to get in that cockpit, he would be if he stood up, he'd bang his head on the ceiling. It's very cramped. Yeah, yes. This is wildly out of scale. But it is good. It's nice again because it's one of those mechs that has more of an emphasis on a non-combat function.
Yes,
because it's supposed to
command mech.
It guides troops around the field. It has all that cool gubbins. It has absolutely zero fucking effect on gameplay, like the Ostscout, where it's like, oh, I could scan the terrain. That means nothing to me. I need to roll dice and kill things.
However, if something does get in close, this thing will tear them to shreds.
It can do a lot of damage. At the same time, if it goes up against heavy or assault units, it actually does. I don't think it has the armor to withstand much.
Well, yes, exactly. That's the problem with it. Unfortunately, its armor is where
it's Wally plays Death Stranding. Yeah, shit Atlas. Yeah, it's low tier Skymaster. Is that where you'd put it? You'd put it.
Wow.
You'd put it in the reservist junk. Wow. What was everyone else saying? Where's everyone else go?
I think it's low Curitan tier. Because for an assault mech, it's not as assault.
So Alden's going with the honor list. Skymaster's putting it in the reservist junk tier. Where are we going? Where's everyone else hitting this goes? Like Yobbo, where's your one? BFG, ETG. You're saying it's behind the Victor, Naman. Okay. Too limited long range and pissy armor. But where does that put it, BFG? Yobbo also saying you're also saying it's going in the reservist junk. Okay, so that's like two people who think it should be in the D grade. Colsh, you're saying it's in the Curitan level.
Wait, you're saying it's not as good as a Scorpion or a Goliath?
Well, Yobbo and Skymaster seem to think it's worse than a lot of those other mechs there. You're saying it's behind the Goliath, right? So you're saying it's Curitan. You'd have it around the Enforcer or Rifleman kind of area. I mean, I'm agreeing that it's not. I don't think it's reservist junk, because I think if you were to get one of these mechs as a character,
if you were using it
in MechWarrior RPG,
you can use it well.
Yeah, I think you've got a pretty damn good mech there for tabletop RPG, and if you're using it in a scenario base, it's not a bad mech. It's not great,
it's low tier on a list, as I said.
All right, you need to pass ETG. Unfortunately, we'll hopefully catch you all later, Cuba. Yeah, thanks for hopping on ETG. All right, have a good day, mate.
Bye. Stop doing that stuff I know you've been doing. Very bad. I've got the files.
I'd put it there because I think the Jägermech and the Rifleman do a better job in their role, and the Cyclops isn't built for a straight up fight. And yeah, of course, it's command and control on the battlefield. It's not meant to get into the fight, so I think it sits around about there in Curitan on a list, to be honest. Is it two left? Yeah. Okay, Banshee and Atlas. So the Banshee, an early mech design produced in the same era as the Mackie and the Emperor, tipping the scales at 95 ton. It's also one of the heaviest mechs ever built. In the late 2400s, the Terran hegemony undertook construction of what would be known as the Banshee in an effort to create an ultra-heavy, close assault vehicle able to engage other models of the newly developed battle mech. Though it was criticised as being severely underarmed and thus outclassed by other privately produced mechs, the Terran hegemony manufactured more than 5,000 of these in the next 10 years. About a third of these still exist today. With its death's head cockpit and rigid star shield armour, it was impressive looking, but never popular with the Terran military, and to this day, its reputation is poor. Yeah, the Banshee looks great, but it is one of those machines that definitely has better upgrades a bit further down the line. And the S is the only good version, yeah. BFG God tier, damn it. Yeah, I mean, like, personally, I really like it because it's so undergunned and it's kind of shit. But I do agree. It's not Davian Junkyard, but it's not Curitan on the list. It is definitely in the reservist junk pile. And I would say that it might actually be bottom of the reservist junk pile because I think all the other mechs ahead of it do their jobs better or have more versatility than the Banshee.
Which mech are we discussing?
Banshee.
Oh, I always like the look of the Banshee.
Yeah, but
then you can't read things just on their looks, can you, Rocket?
I think it's bottom of the reservist junk list for now.
Nah.
I think so. Oh, you think it's ahead of the dragon, man? I don't know. I think at least the dragon can be on the spot recce if needed, and it can get itself out of the fight quickly. Whereas the banshee is too slow once the fight starts. It either has to weather the storm and run, or it has to fire at it and get close.
I think you also have to consider the cost.
It is also expensive, yeah.
Yes, you could have probably nearly two dragons for one banshee. And the banshee, therefore, is just not cost effective. Because it doesn't even have really much more firepower than the dragon.
Yeah, I think. Because I even think the assassin can still do a role better than the banshee. I think everything else is. I think that's where I'm comfortable with being there, to be honest. Last one, the Atlas. Well, the sight of battle mechs lumbering across the terrain is a familiar one among the worlds of the Inner Sphere. Nevertheless, the sight of the AS-7D Atlas still manages to make even experienced mech warriors break out in a sweat, and brings the bitter taste of bile to their mouths. The Atlas was designed as a last-ditch attempt to ensure the superiority of the League's regular army over the growing armies of the House Lords. It was an understandable reaction to the Cameron Edicts passed from 2751 to 2761 by the High Council, which permitted the Five Lords to double the size of their personal armies. General Kerensky himself set down the specifications for the Atlas. He said it should be a mech as powerful as possible, as impenetrable as possible, and as ugly and foreboding as conceivable, so that fear itself will be our ally. Yeah, there's not much that will really sort of supersede the Atlas in terms of just...
Well, the Atlas is so good it can still beat up clan mechs.
It can beat up any mech. I mean, it's still one of those machines, even with other 100-tonners further down the line that do better than it. What if the Samoan is the same size as you? What's that? The bro is correct in my statement. I may only be 5'4", but I can Samoan drop a 6-foot with ease. So, Naman, you're saying it's behind the Orion for you in terms of effectiveness, right? So, right, we are talking about A tier. We're touring gods here. It is the Atlas, after all. Well, the Orion is the mini Atlas, though. Because, I mean, technically it would be above the Orion, because the Orion is kind of it.
Well, an Atlas has got more firepower and can weather more storms than a Battlemaster or a Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the most expensive mech there, but that's because it's probably one of the best mechs.
At the time, it was the only 100-ton mech.
Its job is to kill everything in front of it. Name a mech that does that better.
Stalker? I mean, Stalker does have more broad firepower options.
Yes, but the Stalker doesn't have any specific area. Whereas this mech has the LRM-20 for range and the AC-20 for point-blank just murder.
Well, I mean, the Stalker has a lot of SRMs for point-blank murder combined with mediums, and that has LRMs fire as well, and large lasers for range.
Yeah.
I mean, the two... That's what...
for its role...
Yeah, I think... I still think the Atlas is better than the Stalker. I just think if you to do a fight between the two, it would be a nasty fight.
Yes, it's surprising how good the Stalker is, because it just has firepower for every range, and it's surprising how much it can take. But when it comes to armor as well, the Atlas, look at it.
Well, as BFG says, one thing about these is they are rarely used because they are so expensive and precious. And when they
unless you're in Comstar, we have been known to field.
They take an entire company with them.
Atli.
So material-wise, too, for it to be in combat, it's a huge expense. It's a big expense, a big risk, yeah, for an Atlas to be out in the field, because you don't know. There's always that chance that it gets hit, strafed, artillery struck, bombed, something like that. I don't think it's in the upper tier of Taurians here, but it's definitely... It is sitting mid. Higher mid. Probably better than the Thunderbolt.
I just said that.
Better than the Battlemaster?
Yes.
No, I don't. Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Both of them are there to
kill.
Well,
then, by that logic, it's better than the Catapult, then.
Well, that's just stupidity. That way madness lies.
Oh, I see. Oh, so you say the Catapult will kill an Atlas?
I'm saying the Catapult is brilliant at its job. Absolutely perfect.
Right.
It's mobile artillery, and it does that better than anyone else.
Well, no, the longbow does that better.
That's bullshit, and you know it.
Well, the longbow is mobile artillery.
It's utter rubbish, and you know it.
It's got more missile systems.
You're full of it. Absolute madness.
Well, we may not have got it right. In most cases, probably for a lot of people, but we have overrun on this here stream. I don't know. Did everyone like that?
I didn't. I found it boring, insipid, and the guy in charge just drones on and doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
But
unlike me.
Oh,
there's a bloody door again, Rocket.
Go on to that.
I'm not the one who's.
It's been an idea I've had for this for the stream for a long while now. In the future, I could do like 2750, which I think is a relatively small TRO. Although we can go through the vehicles and stuff as well. So I'll have to make an account and go through and do like a kind of tier maker list thing with this. As I said much earlier in the stream this morning, there's the fact that you have to have a Twitter account and all that linked to this and all that shit. So Project Phoenix, no, God no, please. There would just be many varying levels of it's shit, shitter, really shit, oh God, why, oh my eyes. But change the label. It's a very thin book. Yeah, we'll do different labels, so don't worry. I was just doing these for 3025, but yeah, I enjoyed doing this. Next week though, I'll probably do stream a game instead. It's just there's so many. I think that was the repair guy who's just arrived, but so he could have turned up earlier. There was deliveries and stuff. I didn't know it was going to go on. There was a lot of things happening today. Next week should be a lot quieter. So, thanks everybody for hopping in. ETG included there and that else, but thank you, Kolsch and Adbury, BFG, Skymaster, Cannibal Penguin, Chappie, Dragon Bernhard, Elcomsoft, ETG, Kermify, Lakali, Naman, Rikeraz, Valentina Alcaraz, Von Grunk, Yobbo, ETG was here earlier, amongst a couple of us who popped in and out. So, obviously there's no stream tomorrow, just to give you an idea, so I will be doing the next Friday stream, probably the 20th, so no stream tomorrow, no stream on the 13th, but the 20th is probably I'll start doing Friday streams again. So there will be Thursday ones going forward, so the next few weeks, don't worry about that. So have yourself a good weekend, everybody. Thank you for joining. And
we're all done, are we?
Yes, we're finished.
Oh, good.
Have a good one, everybody. Thanks again.
I hated every minute of it.
Bye.
Why are you waving? They can't see you, you idiot.
Bye.
Stop itching, moron.
Ow! Fucking hit me.